This week, we discuss the Lone Star crossover episode with the 911 universe expert, Trenton from 911 TV News.
The differences between the vibes and production of the two shows.
And how much queer coding for Buck and Eddie they fit into 42 minutes of a different show.
Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddie System, a 911 yapathon hosted by three friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
no stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
Hey Siri, play Texas Hold'em by Beyonce. Welcome to Dispatch, What's on Call this week?
This week we are talking about 911 Lone Star, Season 2, Episode 3, titled Hold the Line, written by Jessica Ball and John Owen Lowe, directed by Bradley Buecher. And the director of photography is Andrew Strayhorn. It originally aired on February 1st, 2021.
All right, so this is part of the opening emergency for season 2 of Lone Star. We have like a few focused emergencies within it. So we have the general wildfire, because I guess a volcano, and from what we understand,
it was a dormant volcano.
A dormant volcano in Texas. So as a wildfire rages in Texas, reinforcements from across state lines come to aid local firefighters, where Buck, Eddie, and Hen of the 118 cross paths with the 126. And then we have kind of one of the little focuses for the episode is a camp for at-risk youth becomes surrounded by flames due to the shifting winds, but a rescue is not so simple when one of the kids has been cut off from the group. And then we have what is ostensibly canaries in the mine, where after the air support helicopter crashes amidst the wildfire, Hen and Owen must hunker down in an old mine to wait out the worst of the flames until help is able to reach them. All right.
Yay! Today we have Trent from 911 News, 911 TV News, like
Yay.
The one, the only, the GOAT. He's literally reporting the news. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So happy to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
For the people who are listening, Trent's background is a glorious collection of 911 universe paraphernalia. And I'm very jealous because
Yes.
all I have is a calendar.
Yeah, in our pitch meeting, I guess, is that what you call it?
Yeah,
It's just like a
Yeah.
pre-podcast.
Yeah,
we can call it that.
Yeah.
We could be official
I mean,
about it.
I made a joke that I would like full on deck out my background with 911 stuff. And then I was like, I'm actually going to do it. So here we are.
One day we will need like a tour of
Yeah,
all
I'm
of
trying to
your
assemble
merch.
a full room of stuff. But yeah,
Like a
this was
trophy room.
Yeah. This was a very last minute whipped together, actually. So
Oh, it looks great.
Well, it's beautiful.
thank you.
But we look forward to the future tour of your 911 trophy room.
Well, I'm looking forward to do it. I'm sure it's going to like make me look insane.
Not any more insane than we are. It's fine.
Insane, passionate.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Yes.
Like we have a podcast about the show.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You know.
Yes.
But anyway, can we talk a little bit about like you and your journey into 911? Like, how did you get here? What got you into the show?
What got me into the show was, well, I'm in Australia and we have a TV network called Channel 7, and they have the broadcast rights to 911 and 911 Lone Star. They have like started passing on, they didn't take Nashville, they didn't take Dr. Odyssey, but they had those two, right? And I started watching in 2019 when the first ever episode I watched was a rerun of Ocean's 911 in the middle of the day. And I just sat through it and I was like, this shit is like kind of good. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's an
great.
explicit show.
Perfect. Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like a show about like firefighters who were like, you know, accused of being criminals. And then I watched the full show and it wasn't that. It was pretty depressing actually, but it was a nice start. It was a nice start to get into it.
Depressing but good.
Yeah.
What an episode to kind of like dive right into.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably better than the pilot episode to get you into it, but
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really snags your attention. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
good introduction to all the characters too.
Mhm.
yeah, even if
Yeah.
a little misleading.
A little bit,
little.
but
Yeah.
still fun. So what made you want to start like update news account for the show?
Probably when 911 Lone Star got announced, because I was actually very fascinated by that. Probably more fascinated than I was the original 911. So I started that. It was originally 911 Lone Star News. And then when the first season ended, and then that's how it used to be, season 3A ended, and then Lone Star started. And then once Lone Star finished, 911 season 3B was going to start. And then I was like, I'll just keep updating through to the 911 season 3. Like, who cares? I'll just keep doing it. So then I just renamed the account and then haven't stopped since. For better or worse, I guess.
Yes. Just adopting more shows.
Yeah.
Wanting them all.
Bought Dr. Odyssey in, as you can see, and then I bought Nashville in. People aren't very fond of my choice to continue bringing more shows into the fold, but...
No, it's so fun, because you really
there's
get...
other accounts to follow if you only want 911, so...
Yeah, that's so true.
You really get like the full experience this way, so...
Yeah, and even if you don't like the spinoffs, how are you going to like hate quota if I'm not updating you guys on what's happening, you know? So that's my message to the people who have an issue with the Nashville updates. You're not going to know what's happening if I don't tell you.
Like, what would you say, like, the differences are, like, in terms of, like, the premise of the show? Because, like, for me, I was like, oh, okay, Lone Star is kind of, like, gritty, kind of dark.
That's exactly what I would have said. It's a much darker and grittier take on 911. And that's very evident with the second episode with the bird box scene, where everyone's ripping their skin off and trying to jump out of windows and shit.
Yeah, oh my God. That call freaked me the fuck out.
Okay.
It was like the bird box, right?
Yeah, I'll explain it for the other two. There's a scene where it starts off in an office building and they're trying to have like a meeting, and then like everyone's gathered around the table and a guy comes in to deliver their like catering food for the meeting. They show a shot of them signing the receipt for the food, and they say no tip. That is very important. What it's mercury poisoning, right? The guy who delivered the food has put mercury inside the food, and they all start trying to rip off their skin. They're trying to like stab themselves. And then eventually, because they're on like the third story of a building, they just start smacking their heads into the glass panels and falling out of the window. And then they find out it's because they weren't tipping that the guy poisoned them with mercury.
Oh my God.
That sounds like some supernatural shit.
Dude, some of the storylines are horrendous on here.
Yeah, it's a very graphic show. The other gross scene for me was in season 2, where they're trying to get that guy out of the pool during the lava thing.
Yeah.
And they rip his whole arm off, like the skin. So it's just the flesh bit.
I had to watch this because like I was so grossed out.
Where's the camp?
That's the camp. Dude, because like of how hot it is, like people's like flesh is like melting, or like they're getting stuck to things, because I think there was like a call in the golf course or a mini golf course or something. Like Marjan had to go get some guy from I think like the earth kind of just like, you know, opened up, and then like she had to get him, and like his skin was like stuck on something.
It's like
it was
fused
just
because of the heat. It fused to the thing.
Incredible. I can't wait to watch it.
That's what I was trying to tell you. I was like, I don't know if you guys watch this, but you guys should.
No, like I'm more curious now than ever. So.
I was going to watch the first season, because when we had our pre-call, Trent was like, you should just watch the first season and then nothing else.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like people are going to get, like, there's a lot of Lone Star fans that are very passionate about the show. And I am one of them. I 100% love the show's entire run. But the first season it's very different to what the rest of the show is.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of am disappointed they abandoned a lot of what the first season was.
Mm.
Because Lone Star, the first season at least, starts off in New York. Owen doesn't move to Austin because he wants to, or like he's trying to like start something new. He's moving there because he does get the job opportunity. They come to him and say, hey, can you come rebuild this firehouse that like had like a really bad thing happen? Everybody died. They're trying to rebuild it for the community. They need someone to come in and do it. And Owen had rebuilt a firehouse after 9/11. So they think he's the guy to do it. And he says no. He flat out tells him he doesn't want to do it. And then TK, literally one scene later, overdoses in his apartment. And then, because he's a struggling addict in the show, and he tries to propose to his fiancée at the time, and then he finds out his fiancée is cheating on him when he gets rejected for the marriage proposal. So then Owen just decides like New York's not fit for them. So he decides to try to save his son by taking him to Austin, Texas, and then rebuilding this firehouse with him, you know, kind of taking away from the chaos of New York to like start a new. But then like immediately he meets Carlos, and then Carlos like wants to like dive headfirst into this relationship. And then like TK doesn't want that. as you've seen the dinner scene in episode 2, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Very painful to watch, but Carlos makes like this dinner. He tries to give him like, was it champagne or something? Because he doesn't know that he has like substance abuse issues.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I'm trying to remember how quick after. Is it literally the next episode that like Carlos arrests him?
Arrest him?
Because he gets beat up in that bar fight.
Oh, yeah, because it got into a fight. Yeah.
And then he finds out like all his personal information because it's on file.
Yeah.
Some weird foreplay.
So that's kind of what the premise of that show is. Like, you got Owen trying to save his son, so they move to Austin. And then you meet all the other characters you've got. By the way, the reason 911 Lone Star doesn't have Begins episodes is because none of the characters actually like made their way to the 126. Like, you know, in OG, they all like had their own journeys to get to the 118.
Yeah.
You get a montage in the pilot episode of Owen basically bringing everybody in that he wants to, bring into this new firehouse that he's building. He finds Marjan online because she's famous in the show, as you've seen in the crossover. No idea how he finds Paul, but he wants Paul because he's basically like a human lie detector. And he thinks that's a really good skill to like have. Mateo he hires because he sees him washing the inside of a door handle on a car and he thinks that's like magnificent. Is that like everybody? I feel like I'm missing something. That's everybody, right? That he like brings in. Judd is a different situation.
Oh, okay.
Because he was part of the original 126, right?
Yeah, he was part of the original 126. All of his friends die in the first scene of the show. Very brutal.
Oh.
And then he comes in to basically job interview. That's what he believes he's doing. But Owen is just trying to test him to see if he's like ready to come back. He finds out that he is not because he gets really angry. And then he tells him to like, basically get out. And then I watched this last night. He doesn't tell him to get out. Judd storms out. And then they go, there's the line dancing scene at the bar. And then Judd shows up and then he has to, get into like the line dancing with like Owen there, even though they've got like tension right now. And then Grace takes the opportunity to talk to Owen and says to give him another chance. And then he does. And then Judd rejoins.
It just took me 2 Marvel references and you just explaining all of this to just realize, oh, this is Avengers 2012, basically. But no, that's kind of what it is. Yeah. It kind of is because he is basically like, he's got like files on them and like recruiting them. And
that's Nick Fury.
That's Nick Fury right there.
That's the frustrating thing about 911 Lone Star in the first season. Nobody gets fleshed out besides Owen.
That's what I've heard.
Prior to like Truby, I think. At the start of season 2, they were trying to keep up with like what they were doing in season 1, but then they kind of just abandoned it entirely, which is very unfortunate.
That's so interesting then, like just how both shows have such different vibes.
Yeah, so I'd say that 911 Lone Star is the darker and like grittier take. Although I do think they start to kind of like drift away from that to be more, I guess, appealing after season 3, I think. Because season 2 is still pretty like graphic. Season 3 is like a bit, but not really. And then season 4, they kind of just fall into this very long Owen Strand FBI storyline from season. Season 4 that just does not end.
Just a wild storyline.
Yeah.
So yeah, general thoughts, because this is, I think, as of now, the only Lone Star episode we are planning to cover. And it's kind of interesting because this is a crossover. This is the first crossover that we get to see. And Han and I have not seen another episode, but Sil, you've done a little homework.
Yeah, so I just decided one random Friday night. I don't remember. But it was like a week ago. Yeah, I was like, let me just put this on. And I was like, okay, this is fun. It is. I actually think it's kind of fun. I mean, the first season is at least. Yeah, no, I think I kind of have like a little bit of a good feel of the Lone Star characters a little bit now. I got some more context. So yeah, I think they did a good job with what they did, in terms of the crossover and like the pair ups and stuff. I think these are like fun pair ups. There are probably some other characters that I would have liked to have seen in the crossover and maybe other interactions that, we could have had. But what we, the final product is what we got. And I think it was still good,
Yeah. Like as kind of an introduction to these characters from Lone Star, I think is pretty interesting. Gives you a little bit of insight, like maybe enough to stay intrigued. And I think maybe the only reason like I haven't watched more of Lone Star is just like when we were coming into 911, Lone Star was basically ending. So I felt like the like moment of entry had kind of passed a little bit for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it's done, I am interested in like watching more of it, especially with Sill's commentary.
Yeah, I'm now like at the point where I'm like, I actually think you guys should watch it. I think you guys would be.
I want to.
You guys would kind of enjoy it, at least to make fun of. Not to make fun of it. I'm lying. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think, you know, we talked to Trent about this a little bit. I think it's like the much more grittier version of in the 911 universe. It's actually, I mean, we start the first episode with a main ODing. Literally. So it's definitely one of the grittier.
It's a different vibe
Versions of the 911 universe.
Yeah, that's what Trenton was saying too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in watching it just for like the emergencies because like you're saying the emergencies are good. I know Alexa has told us that the emergencies are so good over there. Some of them are even better than what we get on like OG.
I think they are.
Yeah. So
I'm just going to say like Lone Star is very enjoyable when you don't have a little bitch in your ear telling you that it sucks.
Just watch it and decide for yourself, sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of
I
thing.
think in general, like forming your opinion on a piece of media without watching it is always like not the way to go because like you don't actually know because you haven't seen the piece of media, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it, but
at least see it before you start.
Exactly. What are your general thoughts? Like, what did you think about the episode? Like as a whole, like what do you
about the crossover?
Yeah, like about the episode.
I thought it was a great episode. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of the whole like franchise. I think it's a great, do you guys want a fun fact about it? It's like the only episode of the 911 franchise to not have a 911 call in it, which is crazy because it's the crossover.
This is true.
Oh, yeah.
Grace isn't even in the episode.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's like, I mean, I guess they would have had to like have another call from like one of the like mini emergencies inside the big emergency, but like they were communicating other ways.
Isn't it crazy that they made up for Carlos and Grace being the only ones missing from the crossover by giving them the crossover with Angela Bassett?
Right. What episode is that actually? Like
season 3, episode 11.
Because I have seen the clip. Obviously, I haven't gotten there yet, but I have seen the clip.
I literally don't think I even knew that.
Oh, yeah. There's an episode in season 3 of 911 Lone Star where Athena like shows up, but she's still in LA. It's a cross country? Would that be the right word? Cross country case. Basically, what happens? Have you seen the episode, Celia?
No.
Okay, well, if you want like the dark and gritty of Lone Star, that scene from that crossover, the opening, it's very much shot like a horror film. It's very cool, very gory though. Like basically, there's like a prank call. It's a swatting call that no one communicates to Carlos for some reason. That the whole thing has been debunked as a hoax. Like you'd think someone would walkie-talkie him and be like, the whole thing's fake. But the suspect that they're going after, climbs out a window, and then he's like clearly not in his right mind, and he's holding a knife, and then Carlos feels like he's coming at him, so he tases him, and then he goes to pick up the guy, and he turns him over, and the knife has gone through his like throat that he was holding, and then the guy dies. And then Grace feels guilty because she's the one who took the call. Carlos feels guilty because he feels like he is responsible for what happened to him. So they both team up to try and find a streamer on a gaming streaming website, we'll go with that.
Okay.
They find out who did it, and then they're like, oh, we want to be there when they make the arrest. And then Grace looks it up and finds out he's in LA. So they call up Athena, and Athena goes and arrests the guy for them.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's the second crossover. Even though people like to say that it's not a crossover because a crossover involves more than one people.
Because she wasn't actually there.
Well, people think that crossovers are with the whole cast. I don't agree.
I don't agree.
If a character crosses over, that's a crossover.
That's a crossover.
Exactly.
So I know we kind of talk a little bit about production stuff with Trenton, which is like super fascinating to hear about the stuff that was going on like at the time of some things. So I just wanted to bring up a couple things as well. Obviously, we're not like super familiar with these writers, but we are familiar with the director. So for writing, it was written by Jessica Ball and John Owen Lowe. So Jessica Ball, apparently this is the first episode that she wrote for Lone Star, and she ended up writing 4 between seasons 2 and 3. So it was 2 in season 2 and 2 in season 3. And John Owen Lowe previously wrote 106 for Lone Star. And then he would also end up writing in season 2 to 11, Slow Burn. And I just pulled that out because we have a slow burn section, and I thought that's a great title for an episode. So good job. And it says that he's credited as one of the story editors for season 3, but didn't actually write an episode. And I'm pretty sure he is Rob Lowe's son.
We love 911 nepotism.
Like the OG Nepo 911.
Like IRL.
Yeah.
So just some interesting stuff. And then for the director, of course, we have Brad Bucher, who we are very familiar with. And he directed all 3 episodes of the opening emergency for season 2 of Lone Star. So that's 201, 202, and 203, as is kind of typical.
Is it even an opening emergency if Brad Bucher isn't there?
Barely. It's like if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? If Brad Bucher's not directing the opening emergency, is it an emergency?
Like, he's got to direct at least one of them.
I know. I think he does mostly. There was a couple in, what was it, season 3 or 4 or 5 of OG. I don't know. There's something in there where he doesn't show up very often. Oh yeah, Brad Bucher does not direct an episode in season 4 of OG. Sad. So this is where we get to see him this season. And
well, he was busy.
He was busy. I know. I mean, I think they were filming on like differing schedules, but I did find a quote because there were a couple interviews with Tim Minear and Aisha Hines, who plays Hen. She did say something about Brad, and she said that he's always tasked with handling the most impossible episodes. He always handles it in a way that takes such great care, so you still get the components of danger, action, and fun, but then you have those moments that are grounded by exactly what you saw and wanted to see more of, like that Hen-Owen exchange. So I love that she just like kind of shouted him out there, and he really is just always at the scene of the crime. And
in the best way.
In the best way. We love his episodes. And at the time of this recording, currently, I think it's kind of interesting because Brad Bucher has directed 22 episodes of Lone Star, and up until this point, which is like the mid-season hiatus of season 9, 24 episodes of 911 OG. So it's like very neck and neck, but I have a feeling, you know, we'll see more of him.
How many has he done of Nashville so far?
I think 3.
Like the opening 3?
Yeah, the opening. And he's also directed all 3 pilots in the 911 universe. I don't think did he direct Dr. Odyssey?
Is he on Dr. Odyssey? Hold on.
He did not direct the pilot of Dr. Odyssey, but he did direct episode 3. So
what episode was that?
That was plastic surgery.
Which is a great episode.
That was a really good episode. Yeah. So I think that was the only episode that he directed. So Bradley Bucher is collecting 911 universe like Infinity Stones. Good for him. Booked and busy. So in relation to some of the crossover production stuff.
I know that you said you wanted to talk about like the promo like leading up to the crossover.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about that in the meeting before, and then I didn't get into any of it. Didn't get into anything yet yesterday, I don't think. No.
We got into a little bit. We got into like the pairings like of the characters and like why we think that worked. Yeah. So what was the like promotion like up to this crossover event? Was it like a big deal?
It was hinted at since the first season. They were talking about crossovers, as you would have seen with Nashville right now. They're talking briefly about like, oh, like there's a crossover coming up, like we're working on it. That's what they did, but they started those conversations when the girl from the Christmas episode who like pepper sprays everybody when she first appeared in Lone Star. I don't know if you picked up on that, Celia. She's
no, I haven't yet.
The lady who, well, you've seen the episode if you watched the first season. The lady who beats the guy with a stick because she's trying to make him let go of the electrical wire, but it's not an electrical wire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the lady Athena arrests in the Christmas episode of season 3 for pepper spraying everybody over a doll. Same character. but she relocates to Austin. And then that was the...
I did think that was weird.
Yeah, that was the mini crossover that they did for the first season. And then that's when conversation started about when they were going to do a proper one with the actual cast of 911. And then it kind of went silent for a bit. They said that they're probably going to do it in season 2. And then they kind of filmed it in secret. There was like kind of whispers that they were going to do it, that they were filming it. There was rumors going around. And then around the time that started, Tim tweeted out a photo of Buck and TK in front of the fire trucks. And I think you can see Marjan and Eddie in the background, and then sent Twitter into a spiral, obviously.
I imagine.
Because we were all very excited about it. And then the first promos for season 2 of Lone Star came out. And I don't think the lava disaster was too interesting, I guess. It is interesting, but it mostly takes place at a sorority house, and that kind of dulls it out a bit. So a lot of the promos for season 2 were like, oh, there's lava, and then here comes the crossover, because technically the crossover is the third concluding part of the lava storyline.
Which is pretty interesting to do it as part of the opening emergency.
Yes.
Yeah.
People pointed that out, yes, but I guess they wanted to build up something.
I have a couple quotes from Tim Minear. So in the whole, what concepts they played around with to bring LA and Texas 911s together, Tim Minear said, we considered it both ways to bring the LA crew to Texas or Texas to LA. And he said, we haven't really tackled a big wildfire on 911, really because the show takes place in California and we generally premiere in September. And so that's really around fire season here. So it's always been a very sensitive topic for us that we didn't want to be making entertainment out of devastation of what was happening here. So the idea of making it in Texas and the fact that we're airing it in a different time, we felt like this is something we could maybe do. And it's very organic, non-contrived way of getting out-of-state firefighters to work with each other because that's a real thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting because he addressed why we don't see any wildfire tackling in 911 OG. And I think we obviously see that it is a point of sensitivity, especially with what happened January of 2025. And one interviewer asked Tim if he always planned to do a crossover episode since he started Lone Star. And he said, oh, sure. That always seemed like it could be a possibility. And then really, when we were figuring out the beginnings of both seasons this year during our long extended hiatus because of COVID, that's when the network was interested in that idea. I loved the idea of doing it. So it was just a matter of if we could come up with an idea that fit where the shows were in their story and something we could actually accomplish in the middle of a pandemic. So I thought that was interesting that that extra time that COVID gave them in their hiatus kind of allowed this idea to grow. And production wise, how much of a challenge was it to merge the two shows, especially during a pandemic? Very practical question from Entertainment Weekly. And Tim said it was incredibly challenging. The pandemic makes making the show at all challenging. The other reason is that something like this is challenging because we have standing sets. That's for characters' homes. We have a firehouse. We have the call center. So none of my standing sets that I built for the show I could use in this episode. There was a brief moment in Tommy's office, who is Gina Torres' character. And there's a brief moment where Owen wakes up in the bunk room and then he's in the bathroom at the firehouse. Otherwise, everything was on location. And so that made it more challenging, certainly. And I know Trenton spoke a little bit about the challenges of scheduling as well. So depending on who was available to bring over, luckily both shows filmed in LA as opposed to Nashville, shooting in Nashville. So it was probably a little easier for them to get to sets for this other show, but still something kind of different. Lots of logistics that you have to think through. All right. And then for our Red String Corner, I've connected the dots.
You didn't connect shit.
I think we have a couple little Buckapedia, the more you know, little tidbits for you. There was one I noticed, and still you noticed too. You were texting earlier. So at the very beginning of this episode, there's the assistant to the operations or something. We don't quite get her role, but the person that wakes up Owen kind of tells him what's like going on. She wakes him up and then she tells him about the kids in the camp that are blocked by the fire line. The character's name we see in the captions is, and also credited, is Molly Savard. So Savard, you may know from OG 911 in both season 8 and season 9, at the time was an assistant to the executive producers on Lone Star. And they started as a staff writer in Lone Star season 5 and ended up co-writing 504 for Lone Star. And now we know one of the people that was brought over from Lone Star to OG 911, and they co-wrote 810 last season, and they co-wrote 905 from this season.
And I guess just to add, since this is probably one of the only other times that I can point this out, also, we do have Molly Green and James Leffler on Lone Star. They are Lone Star writers that have also come over to OG 911. And I'll probably point this out when we get to Jinx, but Taylor Wong was a script coordinator in season 1 of Lone Star and then came on to season 4 of OG 911.
Nice. I think the people that have like crossed over between shows have been like, we really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good picks.
Yeah, really good picks. And I think it seems, at least to us, that they mesh really well with the established like writers' rooms of OG 911 too.
Yeah, and I will say, like, if anyone else who hasn't already watched Lone Star watches season 1 of Lone Star and gets to, it's called Act of God. That's Molly Green and James Leffler's episode. You'll just see a lot of similarities with what they've done for OG, and you're just like, oh, I saw this in OG, and you'll know why. It's because they wrote it. And honestly, the episode prior to the crossover was a Molly Green and James Leffler
that
episode.
It's 202, right?
Yeah, 202, which is titled 2100 Degrees, obviously. Deranged calls. Deranged. A deranged episode. Horrific.
Yeah.
I think they really have like a compendium of like unhinged emergencies to pull from.
Like if you saw the you know, the blue lady at the dentist thing and like the melting, that's where they I get it now.
They like melty things.
They like melting things on people anyway. That's something. That's gross.
Yeah. So you know how we always say like Tim has like a big binder of 1970s disaster movies. I think Molly Green and James Leffler have like a Rolodex of absolutely like unhinged, beyond like comprehension.
What sort of body horror can we commit?
Yeah, that's what they do. Melting people and then hitting a guy with a volcanic rock and killing him.
You know what that reminds me of, though? That reminds me of the guy getting hit by the satellite.
I said that. Like, yeah.
I said that when she was texting today.
Yeah. Getting hit by the little meteor.
Was that also a Molly and James episode?
Well, yes, because they did all 3. 4? No, they did. Wait.
They didn't do the third one.
Yeah, I think
but that was in 902.
4, because 3 was Kristen and Tim, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't they do 902? They did 902, right? 901, 902, and 904. Yeah.
1, 2, 4. But I think the Waymo call was 902.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They also...
that tracks.
Deranged. That's all.
I love them.
I love them too. They're great.
Same. Like, sorry, rip Lone Star, but we won.
I love having them on the staff.
Same.
It's, oh my gosh.
They're great. Okay, so I have the world's dumbest Buckapedia corner, and it's mostly just because I need to complain about this line, because I do actually love this crossover episode. And as we like have established, like, there's good writers on both shows. This line, what the fuck? Okay, so it's right when the 118 is showing up and they're getting out of the engine, and Buck's like what's up with the air? I mean, the way it feels like getting slapped with a wet towel. And he's like, it's called humidity. Welcome to Texas, Buck. Okay, several things. I'm calling this Hands Humidity Line Pet Peeve Corner, but it's also facts, so that's why it's Buckapedia. Several things. First of all, Eddie, you grew up in El Paso, which has one of the lowest humidity rates because it's the fucking desert. So what do you know?
Yeah.
Second of all, Buck grew up 30 minutes from where I grew up, and it gets humid as fuck here. So I know you know what humidity feels like. Also, LA also gets pretty humid. So we're just going to go over some facts. I looked up the average humidity in some places, like the range over the year, the average. So Austin, which is where Lone Star takes place, but not where this wildfire is happening, is 64 to 71% throughout the year. Hershey, Pennsylvania, where Buck is from, is 59 to 73%. Pretty much the same. LA, 50 to 73. El Paso, 22 to 41. What the fuck do you know about humidity? Eddie, shut up. Like, I know that there are humid parts of Texas, but Eddie's in like the most western point. Like, he's from the most western point of Texas. Like, he's basically in another state. Like, the closer you are to the Gulf part, like the southeastern part of Texas, like there's more humidity because you're closer to like water. But yeah, what are we doing? So where they are, San Angelo, or like right outside of San Angelo, the average is 41 to 51%. Also, they're in a wildfire, and those happen with below 30% humidity because there's less humidity is why wildfires happen, like why they spread so fast, because when there's more moisture in the things that burn, it burns slower.
Yeah, because it's
so anyway,
it's dry.
I have beef with this line, and it pisses me off every single time. It takes me out. The rest of the episode, great. This line, get out of here. Because it makes no sense that Bucks complain. You know what humidity feels like. You still experience it in LA. And Eddie, what do you mean?
I don't know. Eddie has excuses. I'm making excuses for him. He's been all over.
He was in war in Afghanistan. Also low humidity. It's a desert.
Where is basic training?
The most humidity he's ever experienced is in LA, which is like slightly less humidity than Hershey, but still like in the same range. So it makes no sense.
It's the you can't have humidity with wildfires.
For me,
that's the crazy one.
It's like, obviously there's always humidity in the air, but it's like it has to be low humidity for the wildfires to be spreading. And the more like fire there is, the lower the humidity.
Because
it's burning up the moisture.
It out. Yeah.
So it's like, what even was that line? Like, I think they were trying to like be like, yeah, it's hot in Texas. Yes, it's hot. They're in Texas and there's a wildfire, but humidity is not part of that.
I think it's really just supposed to function as a Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore line. Like, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, devoid of factual grounding and just like, we're not supposed to be here. Cause like this episode also aired literally right after 403, where they're like leaving to go. So it's like, you know, you see Hen and Eddie and Buck be like, yeah, let's go to Texas. And then boom, they're there.
Also, didn't Buck bartend in Peru?
Yeah.
Yes.
The average humidity there is from 60 to 84%.
Depends where you are.
But yes, again, because like the closer you are to water, it'll be more humidity, but it's more humid there than even where he grew up.
Tell me where exactly in Peru, because like, what the fuck
are you on a beach?
Exactly.
I think it was.
Where the fuck are you? Nobody's wearing fucking Hawaiian shirts, my dude.
He was probably working at a resort.
Not even at a...
No,
that's not Peru. They were trying to... Anyway.
That will be your Buckapedia complaint corner.
When we get in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That will be your platform, your floor.
Yeah,
so.
Okay. They were trying to make him look like he was in Hawaii, and I was like, that's not Peru, my dude. Literally everything. Okay, I'll save it. I'll save it.
But I do want to hear it, like, just then.
So, yeah, that is not even remotely the highest humidity Buck has ever experienced in his life. So that was all just weird for him to say.
Yeah, so we're not in Kansas anymore. That's it.
in the jungle? Like, sorry. Because that's where he looks like where he is. He looks like where I stayed for vacation this year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like in the
jungle, like the Amazon basin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we have references in parallel. Well, it's not really parallels. To me, they're just references. The first one is us meeting Mateo. Well, we're not meeting. I'm not meeting him. It's weird now because now I watched everything. But for people who have not watched Lone Star and only watched a crossover, we meet Mateo Chavez, who has been mentioned or has mentioned that he has a cousin in LA named Marvin, who we meet in 202 and 203 with Athena, who's also played by the same actor, Julian Works.
Also, this episode, the crossover of 911 Lone Star and 911, it starts the Marvin storyline for 911 Lone Star and 911. Do you know what I'm talking about? His identical twin cousin.
Yes.
Which is, at the time, was a very funny way to explain away the casting of him being in both shows.
Yeah.
But then
identical twin cousin.
Yeah, and then in season 4, they actually bring Marvin. Yeah, they bring Marvin into 911 Lone Star, and he needs Mateo's help because he stole the car again, and he needs to be bailed out. So he borrows like $10,000 from Nancy because she has that, because they explain she's very good at saving, and he bails him out, and then Marvin immediately after getting bailed out goes and steals another car, and it like bursts into flames, and he dies. And then Mateo feels guilty for it. And then he like gets drunk, and then he falls over and smacks his head. And then he wakes up in a 90s sitcom parody where...
What?
Yeah. Have you guys not seen that clip?
No.
So he wakes up in a 90s sitcom parody, right? And then Judd is like the local... It's not a 90s. No, it can't be 90s because Judd is a milkman. I don't know. I think it's the 60s. Judd is a milkman.
Out of curiosity, what year was this episode?
God, what year would that have been? It was season 4, so it would be 23, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So after WandaVision, okay.
Yeah, I would actually say that it might be a WandaVision reference.
Like a reference to that, yeah.
I think I tweeted about it one time. I can look it up, but I'll send you guys the clip after. But yeah, it's a very expensive bit. Everyone has very like unique costuming for the period that they're in.
That sounds like so much fun though.
They've completely refurbished the set of Owen's house to look like a house from that time era. It's very cool, actually. I was pretty certain. And they gave it's like a sitcom, so it has a little theme song as well to go with it was called like Double Trouble or something. That's the name of the episode. I think the sitcom is also called Double Trouble. And it's like there's a laugh track and everything. It's probably like my favorite bit they've done because it was so ridiculous. But yeah, you get like a flashback to Mateo's childhood where you find out Mateo was actually the one who committed the original crime that got Marvin, into this life of crime because he took the fall for it to like protect his like identical cousin. And then because they live together, and then that's basically how Marvin gets into his life of crime. He takes the fall for Mateo, and then guess he just falls into what everybody thought of him. And then for some reason, Mateo, after Marvin dies, tries to turn himself in for the original crime, and then Owen like has to call him out for being ridiculous and stupid.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, and then it's weirdly one of like the saddest episodes of Lone Star, just like
it sounds sad.
With the most like absurd stuff going on, like the most absurd delivery of it. Like, oh, we're doing this storyline with an identical twin cousin, which isn't possible, I don't think. And then you've got this like 60s sitcom where Owen is playing some weird dad, and then he's married to, what's her name? Tommy. Which, by the way, is the only time people thought Owen and Tommy were going to get together. And the only time that they ever are together are in that 60s flashback, I believe. Which is good. I don't think they have any chemistry.
No, they don't. And actually, now that you bring that up, I thought that Owen and Michelle, so Liv Tyler's character, I thought they were going to get together in season 1.
That was 100% what they were setting up for.
Kind of like how there was a vibe with Abby and Bobby.
Yeah.
At some point. That's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, I think it might have gone there had Liv Tyler stuck around, but I also don't think I would have liked that either.
I don't
think they would have been good together, but they were definitely heading down that alley.
Yeah, just vibes.
Yeah. By the way, you want the funniest lore now that you've seen the first season? that flashback you see where you actually first meet Michelle's missing sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like before the reveal that she's in the tent under the bridge.
Which, by the way, they didn't hide it very well because, like, I figured it out. I think the first time we see that camp, I was like, oh, she's totally there.
I think it's meant to be implied, but the funniest thing was when we first get that flashback, I think we got it in a sneak peek or something, the actress who plays Iris immediately posted all these behind-the-scenes photos of her under the bridge. Under the bridge with Liv Tyler being like, I'm so honest to be part of 911 Star. Everyone was like, okay, she just spoiled the whole storyline that she's like under the bridge.
Oh, no. That's so funny.
Yikes.
Yeah, you gotta love spoilers in these shows because they always come directly from the people involved.
Cast member.
Yeah. If you noticed any like parallels that we wouldn't really notice because we don't know, well, Syl knows Summerlin Star now, but you have watched the whole show. If there were any parallels in this episode.
The reason that there's no like real parallels or like any like strong lore stuff outside of probably Tim, who is like quite literally like the ghost that is looming over this episode. I think it's because they were trying very heavily to get, this episode was to get people into 911 Lone Star. So I think they wanted to make it as easily watchable as possible for OG fans, because if you haven't noticed in the episode, they also get rid of the Lone Star filter. It's got its own weird coloring to it. It's like an orangey and then like a greeny like kind of vibe to it.
Because of the wildfire, I'm assuming. Too.
Yeah, and I also think they tried to line it up a bit so it's not as dramatic for when people go from 911 to 911 Lone Star. We're like, I can't see shit.
Can't see anything.
So I think that's why they did that. Yeah, I think that this crossover was designed not to like follow any certain like direct references to anything. And I think that was a choice because like you see the Dr. Odyssey crossover with Athena and they are flashing back to the cruise arc. They're doing all this like crazy stuff to let you know that this show is in the same universe as 911.
Yeah.
And I do actually wonder how that would have played out had Buck and Bobby gone with her, which was originally the plan.
My kingdom to see what that would have been like.
I'm confused why Buck would have been there. I get
Me
Bobby.
too, but I would have just like written it off because it would have been fun.
And it would have been such a nice way to include Avery and Tristan, because at least Avery has a lot of screen time in it. Tristan does not. He is just, he's kind of hovering. And you only see him when he's with Avery, and it would have been nice to have them included some. I don't even think Tristan interacts with Angela Bassett at all, actually.
I don't remember.
I don't think so either.
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched it since like it came out.
Yeah.
But I don't remember them really interacting.
But yeah, I don't think they interact.
But yeah, like I feel like we could cover that episode on the podcast and talk about character development for like twice as long as we
did
any of it for this.
I don't. Yeah. So what I say to that is I don't think there are any direct parallels, but I do think it's kind of funny that throwaway line of, well, not throwaway line, but like the joke about Marvin being his identical cousin ended up paying off, I guess, as having this whole...
eventually.
Yeah.
It's one of those like happy accidents.
I do question how Marvin ended up in Los Angeles.
It's not explained?
No. I don't think it is, no.
It's one of those things that you just go like this about 911. You're just like, all right, I'll just hand wave it away. It's fine.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Mateo was in Austin for like pretty much his whole life. Yeah, he has to be, because they're talking about burning down a school in that area. So I don't know how Marvin ended up in Los Angeles.
Do they have other family like in
potentially
Los Angeles? Maybe
they should.
I need to rewatch that episode. I think I skip it on rewatches because it takes me out of the show a bit because of the 60s. It's very Glee. I'll say that. It's very Glee, random like filler episode, but then with random like the most depressing lore that you could insert into that kind of situation.
What season did that happen?
Season 4.
Was Tim showrunner?
I think that was the last season Tim was showrunner on. Okay. Yes, he was co-showrunner.
Because I was like, you know what that sounds like to me? Buffy Angel shit.
Yeah, true.
Which is like, that would be Tim Minier's shtick, or one of his shticks. Like, the concept sounds cool, but I could see how like tonally, with like how serious the thing it was that was happening. And just for the show itself, that's normally like so like
tonally it is ridiculous. And I think they know it's ridiculous because then in the middle of it, like Carlos and TK show up. Well, at least I confused him with Carlos this time. I don't know how I did that. Carlos and TK show up, but they're both cops in this one. And then Carlos is like a regular cop, and then TK is his like sidekick, who is like a very goofy looking cop, like with a fake mustache and everything.
God.
And they're like, they're really playing up the bit, like accusing Mateo of like vandalizing and burning down a school and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
I think
I'm going to have to watch that episode, actually. It sounds very interesting. Even if I don't get that far.
We also, so like that's his reference. And I feel like every other character does have like a reference or callback to an event or things they went through. So next up we have Buck, who references 102 Stuck, which is, he was talking about like, he didn't get to save him, but like, you know, the roller coaster call with Devin hanging from the roller coaster. And obviously we know how that turned out. Then TK comes in with his reference from 110. The episode is titled Austin, We Have a Problem. And he's talking about how like he got to rescue a lady. What happened is that they had a solar storm, which caused the like traffic lights to, you know, malfunction. And then
wow, that sounds familiar.
So it's a bus and an automobile collision, and like the bus driver is like stuck and almost drowned, actually, because they also hit a fire hydrant. So like as he's trying to save her, she's like almost drowning. That's why when I texted you guys, I was like, are they about to? I mean, he doesn't have like the medical skills to do it. But I was like, are we gonna get an amputee up in here too? But no. He still got to save her. He was going through one of those like phases. Do I still want to be a firefighter phase? After getting shot by a child. Again, you need to watch it. Anyway.
Everything I learned.
Everything we learn about it. Yeah. Rachel and I are just like,
what?
Hello? Excuse me?
I know. No, like I said, the calls are wild. Anyway. Next we have Marjan, who references, I think she's talking to, Eddie like sees that on her Instagram that she did a rescue. Like there was a tornado in 105, Act of God. This is again, Molly Green and James Leffler's episode. A vehicle is stuck between two buildings and she had to like get up there, rappel and like get the person who was stuck. I think it was the driver stuck in there and to like, I think drop them into the inflatable thing.
That kind of sounds like the refrigerator in the trailer from Nashville.
It does, actually.
Also with the tornado.
Yeah.
There's so many interesting, like...
Obviously, Molly Green and James Leffler didn't write the Nashville episode, but they're pulling, like, everyone is reheating each other's nachos, okay?
But it's their own IP. They're allowed.
Yeah, it's their own IP.
All the same people. Like, is it incestuous if it's this, like... the same group of people? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Then we have Eddie.
But like in a good way.
Yeah. Then we have Eddie's little reference or callback. So again, I think this is when he's talking to Marjan and they're like basically looking at each other's Instagram, and Marjan sees that he built a skateboard for Chris. Well, Buck and Eddie built a skateboard for Chris. And then we have Hen and Owen. So, you know, while Hen and Owen are stuck they're taking cover from the fire, like in the mine, she brings up she accidentally killed someone with her own ambulance in 308 malfunction. And then Owen has been like this throughout this entire episode, hallucinating Tim Rosewater, who died in the previous episode, 202, 2100 degrees. So he's been, you know, hallucinating him throughout this entire episode. And, you know, that's basically his reference, his callback for this episode.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of got it a little bit. I couldn't find one for Paul. And I guess Judd's would be whatever he and Eddie are talking about, have going on. Like they're trying to relate, I guess. But like I couldn't really find like a direct, like episodic kind of callback for those two.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's more than I would have gotten. And then we do also get our favorite bit. Eddie saw it in Afghanistan, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He had to show up and let people know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Afghanistan is his, like, he went to Harvard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. No, but that is kind of cool that almost everybody gets, like, a callback.
Yeah. I didn't... It's nice now that I watched it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
They said this thing. They're talking about this episode and this episode and this episode.
Yeah. You're getting more out of it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, and then we'll quickly go over some themes. Because this is Lone Star, I don't know exactly how it relates to the rest of the season themes, but
I was gonna be like, well, we got a little bit from Trent, so with the survivor's guilt, I think.
Yes, so the survivor's guilt is very prevalent, and it seems, according to Trenton, that it is prevalent, especially for Owen, throughout the entire show. That's his hamster wheel. That they don't really quite get him off of.
No.
And then we also see this concept of being left behind or not being left behind. We're seeing it kind of physically with, one of the kids from the camp that was separated from the rest of the group, Hen and Owen that are also separated, and they don't know if they're going to be left behind because people have to come find them. Buck is like, I've been abandoned by my people, but it's played off like with humor. I want to talk about that more in like Buck's section as well. Then there's some obviously like connecting and identifying with each other, which is just like, matching up some of the characters and having them connect on certain things like Eddie and Judd about their high school upbringings and some other stuff. Also father-son relationships, which I think are kind of just a running theme throughout all of the 911 universe. But sometimes it really shows up. And we see that a lot with TK and Owen. Of course, we get a mention about Buck and Bobby. The kid, I forget his name, who got separated from the rest of the camp. JJ. He has like a line about his dad, and I think there was another one that I'm missing. But Eddie talks about him being a single father. We're doing the single dad thing. So there's a lot of that and running.
Yeah.
Throughout.
And then like there's a little bit of, I mean, I just know this because again, yeah. So, Judd's little speech to JJ, I mean, it is kind of based on some of his own little issues that he has with his own father. Very stubborn father.
Boy.
Yeah, there's
okay, that's
some
interesting
of that too.
Then. So bringing some of that kind of stuff back. And then, I mean, this is kind of par for the course because it's a first responder show, but very specifically running towards danger, especially how Owen and Hen kind of took the helicopter when nobody else should have gone out there. So they were running towards danger. Everybody on the little strike force who was volunteering to go up with the ATVs to the camp, like towards the fire line. And then we also get Hen and Owen again with running towards the danger with the mine that had the actual sign that said danger and all of the dynamite and stuff. So, but that's like par for the course. I don't know. There was a big sign on it and I was like, that is something. So, ta-da.
Yay.
That's as much as I could get from the themes there. I think it was a little light on theming because it was so like, we got to get all the characters in there. I guess we can hop into character arcs.
I guess let's talk about Hen and Owen in this episode. What are the beats going on that you think that they paired them up together?
Why they paired Hen and Owen up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say because I don't know this one. That's the confusion. It's always baffled me. I don't know why they put Hen and Owen together. I think maybe what happened was like they cast like a wide net for the 911 cast, but like who's available to do this? Because they were filming both shows at the same time.
Yeah.
And I do know that scheduling was an issue. So maybe Buck, Eddie, Hen were the only ones that they could like fully make work for this like crossover to happen.
Right.
And I think they put Eddie and
Judd.
I think they put them together because like they are both from Texas. They both, they established in the episode that they like had like some high school thing with like their teams and stuff like that. They weren't there at the same time, but team legacy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then Buck and TK were literally only put together because everyone was comparing them at the time in season 1. It's like, they called him Texas Buck. That was what they first started calling him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, when we didn't really know much about the characters, they started calling him Texas Buck. And then, that's why I understand why they put them together, And I guess, like, you've got, like, the captain's son in Lone Star, and then you got captain's adoptive son in OG. I won't call him that. They have the same dynamic. But then, I think I guess they couldn't take Peter Krause out of 911 for it to make sense. The captain would not go. But if they were going to put someone with Owen, it would have made more sense for it to be
Bobby, yeah.
Yeah, but then I guess they just couldn't. So, and that's another confusing thing because I think
or Chimney.
I think they don't have paramedic captains in 911, but they do in 911 Lone Star. And I think Hen could have worked really good alongside Tommy, Gina Torres, not the other one.
I kind of wish we got to see that.
Yeah, but Gina Torres is mostly missing from that episode. She has one scene where she FaceTimes Owen and then she shows up at the end, which is, I guess just a way to include her because they had just... They couldn't omit her from that episode. She had just started on the show. That was her third episode. And I guess they just wanted to be like, get familiar with her. And
she's here too.
Yes, and she's great. I love her.
And we are also coming off of them killing off Tim Rosewater, right? Yeah. So they kill him off, but I think that's why they put Hen and Owen together because
you two wouldn't know what happened with that, would you?
She told us.
She told us.
Yes, absolutely. Decked by a rock of lava.
Yeah.
I always thought that, I have such bad memory, and I always remember, with I was explaining that really complex Carlos plot with forgetting that Owen was in it. I forgot that Tim appears as a ghost throughout, the episode, which, by the way, Tim Rosewater has appeared in 911 before, but not as the same character. He is the runaway groom at the start of season 2.
Oh, I love when they double cast.
Which is funny because in that same episode, I think, is it the same episode? No. Next episode, you get Marvin, who shows up. Marvin is Mateo's cousin, who they do mention in this crossover.
Yes. Yeah. Pairing up Hen and Owen, and I found some quotes because I try to deep dive on some of the articles and grab some quotes. So there's something from Tim saying that, they were telling a story of Owen, who's going through the story arc this year about his survivor's guilt and his cancer being in remission, which I didn't know from watching this episode. And he needed to have some kind of cathartic moment where he's almost given permission to live again. And Hen, having gone through, I'm paraphrasing,
malfunction, right?
Yes, having gone through the similar kind of survivor's guilt with hitting the girl in the ambulance from season 3. It's she's there to kind of tell him, not only do I have survivor's guilt, I killed someone with my ambulance, but it's there's still a way to move forward from that because Hen has. So that kind of inspirational.
Yeah, they had their whole moment in the mind. Yeah.
It was just a good, a happy coincidence.
Yeah, maybe. I think you're right. They don't think that far ahead with these shows. But
sometimes.
But yeah, I think you're right about that. That's probably why they put them together and it just worked out for the best, I guess. I don't think Owen should have left the base, realistically. I don't think he was supposed to.
It was a self-sacrificial thing.
No one else should have.
Owen said, I don't feel comfortable putting anybody on the line for that. So
yeah.
That's the thing though. He never lets anyone do anything. Just based off of what I'm watching in season 1, I'm
you're talking about the plane episode where he goes up and
something else. There was something else that he did. I was okay, so he went into a house to save these 2 kids. I forgot what episode it was, but it was really early in season 1. But he went in there and tried to save them. Collapsed house. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm so you're not going to let anyone from your team help you at all. And so Hen just bullying her way. Well, not bullying her way, but she rightfully did, to get into the helicopter. I mean, to me, it makes sense because someone's going to have to someone has to tell him you actually need a fucking medic.
Because you're not one. Skills to actually
thinking that he's invincible is actually
yeah.
But yeah.
I guess my question is, does what happens in this crossover episode further his characterization or where he was?
Still in season 3, we're still going on about Owen's survivor's guilt, and that's totally fine. He survived 9/11. He had cancer. It's a very serious thing to move on from.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish they would stop trying to be he's found a way to deal with it, and then the next episode And then in season 4, they realized that he's they've stretched out everything. We've done the flashbacks to him in the towers on 9/11. We've done all the stuff we can with the cancer because that was 2 seasons ago, and what else can you talk about with that?
Yeah.
So, and then in season 4 for another bitch, like, yeah, he has to assisted suicide his brother, and now he's going to feel really bad about that in season 5. And that's what becomes his guilt for season 5, because we always had to have Owen feeling guilty about something.
What drives him.
Yeah, but also I feel like they kind of trap the show in this cycle of like Owen has to constantly be this one thing. He has to be constantly throwing himself into danger, and he has to constantly feel guilty about everything around him. Because that's the thing with the whole FBI storyline. He feels guilty about like how he's dragged the 1 through 6 into this, and it's just a lot. And I feel like it does get a bit exhausting to like, you can't really binge watch it because you're just like, oh, we're in this now.
I can see that.
And I don't have a problem with Owen at all. I know everyone hates him. I do think he hogs up the screen time in a way that is obnoxious for someone who's also the executive producer. But the show was designed around him, so I guess I should cut him some slack. But
I think it makes some sense. Yeah, I guess picking up from why they decided to pair Hen and Owen together, I mentioned the quote from Tim, and just to kind of like go over some of that again, because I have a few quotes from Aisha Hines as well. And, I think it was, Owen needed to have that kind of cathartic moment where he was almost given permission to live again. And he needed to have it with somebody with some authority who can help him with that. So when they realized that Aisha would be available, the idea of pairing Owen and Hen just seemed like the thing you wouldn't expect, and a really interesting pairing of 2 interesting characters. So with Hen being an Owen story at this point, suddenly it felt like it was always meant to be. We needed somebody in that mine shaft with him who gives him permission to leave his ghosts behind. When he's talking about his survivor's guilt, she just trumps it. She's like, yeah, not only do I have survivor's guilt, but I killed somebody with my ambulance. And Tim went on to say it's thrilling when you're writing and putting it together and you're realizing this is not a gimmick. We're not doing a gimmicky crossover. This is an episode that is earning all of its emotional beats, because they kind of run the gamut with that. And then from a couple interviews with Aisha, she said, with Hen having her give like that insight to Owen, she said, best case scenario, maybe Hen is not carrying all of that guilt and all of that weight in a way that is burdensome or an obstacle or paralyzing for her, where she can't move through life anymore, especially because of the trajectory of Hen's character from the beginning until now. She still somehow finds a way to anchor herself in some level of perspective and strength to power through and keep a level mind. And she talks about, how Hen has such a great support system with Karen and Athena as a sounding board, and Chimney and Bobby. So it's like she's gathered up a treasure chest of insight and wisdom to govern her life by. And so like Hen having gone through something incredibly traumatic and having the experience with the girl in the ambulance, this is Hen saying to Owen, like, hey, you're not alone. And then she said the 2 of them together provide a mirror for society and anyone who has served in that capacity in real life, and letting them know you're not alone and it's okay to be traumatized and have these things live with you for a while after. It's very human, and there are others that are like you, but don't let that subtract from the great work you've done and will do going forward. So it's interesting because I feel like that she really tied it to the season 4 themes that we're seeing, which is like the you are not alone sort of thing, which is like that point of connection for Hen and Owen.
Yeah. So like, I think with where their storylines are at this point in time, like I think it makes sense that they were paired up with each other, considering I think like the obvious choice, if he had been available, we don't know what happened here, right? It would have been like having Bobby and Owen paired up, but I feel like that's just kind of, it's like captain on captain. I don't know. So I feel like how Tim and Aisha explained it, like Hen does have that support system. Hen has, so again, the context is they're coming off of a character death that Owen had to kind of just like watch. He was like right there when the volcanic rock like hit or struck Tim Rosewater. It's not like he could have done anything.
No,
it just happened.
It just happened.
It was a freak accident. Just like what Hen went through with the ambulance. That was like a fucking freak accident.
And it wasn't her fault, and there was nothing she could have done.
Yeah, so like I feel like she does have that perspective to be the one to listen to him, or to be the one that kind of gives him like another kind of perspective. So yeah, it made sense. But also on the other side of it, he just found out in the first episode of season 2 that his lung cancer is now in remission. So, there's many ways that
why
you
did he survive?
Yeah.
When this other person didn't?
Not yet, unless they explore that further in the season, which I haven't gotten to. But like, I just think that's it could be another layer to it, but I don't know at this point in time. But but again, like, I guess for him, it's kind of like you feel a certain type of way, like, oh, I thought I was going to die type of thing, right? But I didn't. So I'm surviving this. So like there's just a survivor's guilt, an added survivor's guilt, and a more added survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Just like keeps on going for him.
And he really kind of takes that and twists it in like a kind of self-deprecating way with the whole like, oh, you picked a good person to hunker down with because I'm invincible sort of thing. But so he means it like, but like in a bad way, because he's like, all the people around me get hurt. And there was one other quote from Aisha, and she said she was able to approach this as Hen would by disarming other characters around her, where people may know Captain Strand as someone who may be a little bit prideful and private about not wanting to share certain things, and always has a way of getting in there and pulling things out. So I think that's also like a really interesting, because Hen is that character. She kind of like gets to the nitty gritty of things.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Also, because again, from my understanding, just with my very limited knowledge of season 1 and going into up to this crossover episode, Owen Strand, what he does is really like, he likes to do a lot of the big riskier things. He really does. So him going on this, like, to do this helicopter rescue on his own, on brand, and him telling Hen, I don't like, basically like you shouldn't be here or whatever, also on brand. But if anything, Hen is just going to do what she wants at this point. Right. And with logic, because you do need a medic.
She kind of ends up grounding Owen in a way, right? Because he has these like lofty kind of like ideas of heroism to kind of overcompensate for his survivor's guilt. She's like, we're going to do this like smart.
Yeah. And a lot of, and just to be fair, or not fair, I don't know, really, just to be fair, like his season 1 taking risk stuff is, again, because he's like, oh, I have lung cancer, but I'm still doing the job. And if I die, I mean, it's like, whatever, because I'm going to die anyway.
I'm sorry. Man is in remission from lung cancer, immediately goes out into a wildfire without any breathing apparatus. Sure.
Does he have a death wish? I think he kind of does.
Yes, he does. I mean, I guess like, I don't know, maybe they did have the equipment in the helicopter and it just went whatever. It's boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, parallels to Don Hart, like getting out of the hospital right after being struck by lightning and being exactly where he's not supposed to be.
Oh, these fucking captains, man. I think Bobby's no, I can't even say Bobby's the smartest of them all, but I think he has less like.
I think Bobby's the most different.
He's the most by the book.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is part of the captain's job to not put your people at risk. So like not unnecessary risk, like beyond what is by the book.
Yeah, there's a difference
what
between
is reasonable
delegating and taking on certain things because you're the person in charge and it's your job to keep the rest of your team safe, and walking into fire, basically. A little bit of a difference there. I think we're also going to see Chim be a little bit more of the delegating type.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say, I think, unless we have something else.
I think that's it.
Very great.
Yeah. I had nothing to say.
I know. So you said nothing. It's okay.
It's not that I think them being paired up was bad. I was just like, this does nothing for Hen. It doesn't further.
No.
Well, this is on the Lone Star side of it.
I know. So I'm like, I have nothing to say about Hen, and I sure as shit don't have anything to say about it. So I just sat here and listened to you guys.
I do kind of find it interesting, though, when we take like characters and plop them in a completely new situation with new surrounding characters and see how they interact with them. I think that's like an interesting exercise. So,
but I was just also going to say just really quick, but I also feel like this episode doesn't do anything for literally anyone going forward, but on both sides.
I mean, there's tiny little things I can take away for like we'll talk about it.
Well, there's that
like,
one
there's tiny little nuggets.
Yeah, but
that's it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
But it's also
really.
like, and this is maybe where some of the incorporating this crossover in part of the big emergency, kind of the downside of it, because it's the big emergency, like traditionally it's not as heavy on the character stuff. Like it gives you enough to kind of like show where they're going, but like it's not the main focus.
And I meant to say this back when, go ahead, Sil.
I mean, no, go ahead, because maybe it's in the same line, same vein.
No, it's not. This is not even like actually related to.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, like, I just hope that, I mean, it's a crossover, right? Like, so the question would be like, why else would a fire department from Los Angeles be there? And it's because of an emergency. So this is why I'm kind of like, for Nashville, I kind of hope they do Oliver's idea about the firefighter Olympics, because at least that way it takes the stakes of a big emergency out of the picture, unless they really want to incorporate something in there, which they might, honestly, because what is 911 without the emergencies, right? But so an emergency at the firefighter Olympics, that would probably be our best
place for an emergency.
Yeah. And our best bet for a crossover. So that way we can also have a little bit of character work with the pairings, as opposed to kind of like, we did get character work. I think the emotional beats were really more with obviously Hen and Owen.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of them, I mean, we just had like some little, nuggets of a little competition here and there, because that's really what it was. A little bit of ribbing here and there. That's really what we got. But I think it would be nice to see where, hopefully, like the firefighter Olympics or whatever, that could be something that they really can connect, I guess.
Yeah, like more personal impact.
Yeah.
My thing was, I meant to say this earlier when you were reading the quote from Tim about like doing the crossover and figuring out where it was going to be. And he was like, yeah, we were trying to figure out if we should do it there or here. And I was like, in my mind, it was only ever going to be on Lone Star, in the same way that the crossover with Nashville will be on Nashville, because they want to bring in the bigger OG audience into the other show. So like, I think it would just be disruptive to bring it onto OG.
I mean,
I agree with that. Actually, I can't picture them doing a crossover onto OG. I feel like you would have to bring it to the actual spin-off.
Yeah.
On the other hand of that, so like I can see it both sides. I think it makes the most sense to do that, to bring OG into the spin-off, so that way you get some of that pull from that audience.
And they end the audience, they end the episode in a way that's like, oh, I'll just keep the TV on for the episode that's coming on right now to watch this thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, because then if you're doing it in the first episode and then you go to the next episode and it's over, like, how do you lead into it? Like, it just doesn't make sense for the crossover of like getting more audience members to watch it.
To me, I think some of the appeal to bring some of the spin-off people into the OG would be to introduce some of the characters to the people already watching.
They're not going to care.
911 OG.
They're not going to care if it's on their show. They're going to be like, why are they here? I don't know who these people are.
So that's why my proposal when we're doing the 911 and Nashville crossover is to have a 2-episode crossover where you focus on whatever the concept is for both episodes. So that way you get to see a little bit of each. That's what I would do. So then it's like a 2-hour event instead of just like hold the line here, where it's the crossover of 1 episode. I would like to see it expanded into 2.
They were incorporating that though in episode 3 of season 4. They were incorporating the bits and pieces.
It's the lead in.
Yeah. I'm talking about to have like the actual characters like show up in OG and the OG.
I just don't even know how you would do
logistically. That's kind of, they would have to like cut the episode in half. Like,
I'm just looking at it from like a production and storytelling perspective too, where it's like the OG cast has so much more to add to the spinoffs with like, not just the characters and the audience members, but then it's like bringing the characters into OG takes away from the storytelling they need to do with these very established characters and their very established audience. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Happy to be proven wrong, but to hear Tim be like, yeah, we were trying to figure out if to do it there or here. I was like, why would that even be a question?
I'm still trying to think about how they would do the firefighter Olympics on like doing it like on OG and then do a 2-hour event like Rachel is saying. Like, I'm like,
it would literally just be at the end of the first episode. They'd be like, we're going to go to the firefighter Olympics. Like, they'd be getting ready to go.
It's like the last 10 episodes they meet up. What the hell did I just say? The last 10 minutes of the episode they meet up and then
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. The wires got crossed there. But I guess that's, and then what? And then we move on to the next.
I can't articulate it, but I'm there in my brain.
No, I get it.
There is a way that it could work.
We don't have to keep this in. I just don't want it. I have so very little time with my
I get it.
Little blorbos. I love you, 911 Nashville, but stay the fuck out of my show. Because I don't care about you in my show. I care about my blorbos in my show.
Yeah, that too.
I want to focus on them in the show, not on you being there and promoting your show. We'll promote your show at the end of the episode leading into your episode.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
So anyway, Buck and TK. I need to stop yelling into this mic. I see it all the time and I'm just like, shut up.
No,
you're so annoying.
No, you're not.
So this was a team up born of everyone else just left them to go do other things.
Kinda, yeah.
Mateo didn't leave TK.
But it's like the last to get picked in gym class. It's like that. Like you just defaulted to that team.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that part. Yeah.
Yeah. Because nobody wanted to dig the line.
No
one wanted to hike up and do the thing.
No, it was a little bit Hen and Eddie's just like smart thinking that they're like, yes, I'm going to volunteer to do
my medic skills.
Else. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to do something else so I don't have to do that. And I think especially because Buck was like, I've never been called for like this kind of duty before. And I think he just frankly did not really know exactly all of how it worked and that the other things were an option. Because if he had overheard the stuff about the kids at the camp, he would have volunteered for that too,
for sure.
But Eddie was over there getting his coffee.
They wouldn't have needed him because they were like, "We need a medic," and he would have just been like, "I can do other things."
Yeah. So it's like he was kind of destined to do the actual digging and the important. It's part of the important job that everybody had to do because that's what really like held the line, I guess, as the title states.
I think Buck is just peak comedy in this episode for me, but there's also a lot of grimacing moments where I feel like they're very much foreshadowing what's about to happen to him in 404 and 405.
Wait, yeah.
But it's just like, oh no, my dude.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Because there is so much emphasis on, Buck's kind of heart to heart in some ways with TK. It's like very short lived, but they kind of bond over their father or father figures. And that emphasis on the familial aspect is really playing into what's going to happen for Buck moving forward. And I'm like, I don't know how much the writers like knew about or like how much they were fed about what was going to be happening. I mean, Tim's got his little phalanges in all of this, so I'm sure he like gave them a little bit of, heads up on some stuff, but it was like this was a lot of interesting foreshadowing for Buck coming up in 404 and 405.
I think specifically to me, the two moments that like might not have like been necessarily intentional. Well, the first is when he's bringing up the fucking roller coaster call. Cause I was like, bro, why would you even bring that up? That was so traumatizing for you. But it's like it is the first moment we ever see him like feel like he failed to save someone. And we see how he handles that, which is not well because he feels like he should have been able to, because that's what he's supposed to do is save people. And then it's the line where it's like at the beginning when everyone's like going off to do their own thing. And he's like, Eddie, Head is leaving us. And he's like, yeah, I'm going with fire. And he's like, abandoners. And I was like, it's funny, but also, oh, your trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because he's
no.
really going to be feeling that abandonment issues pop up again.
Yep. And feel like just feeling alone, because it's like he's already in therapy for the being sad and lonely, but it's like he goes into the next episode being like, we're a team and we're in this together, and then ends up finding out that he's just been all alone in his family this whole time, like not knowing this huge secret. So there were a lot of moments where I was laughing and then going, oh. Like,
it's usually how it goes.
It's kind of funny. It's like a weird dichotomy that was going on where some of it just felt like very broad strokes Buck, but then some of it felt very like subtle foreshadowing of, you know, his deep-seated issues. So it was just kind of like, this is such an interesting like way to look at Buck, especially for like a viewer of Lone Star that may, for whatever reason, not watch OG. I don't know. But like, just like an interesting take on him, because it's just like, this feels kind of, I don't want to say shallow, but just like, yeah, very broad strokes, but also getting to the like gooey center of him.
Yeah, I mean, we also get the callback to like him stealing the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, he does that. He knows how to steal engines. He goes against rule. Like, so it is just very much, it is showing just like not a character regression, because it's like he still does this stuff when it's necessary. Like he goes against orders, but there's no one there who he respects enough to completely follow their orders. You know what I mean? Like if a Bobby was like there to tell him, hey, don't do that thing, like he would try and like reason with him, like we see at the end of season 3. But because no one's there to like be like, maybe don't steal the fire engine, or maybe get more people to come with you instead of like just having them luckily show up.
It is a much better reason to like go and find, you know, their friends and family rather than to hook up.
Well, for sure.
With someone. So like there's growth in that way. Like he's doing it for a much better reason.
Yeah.
But
I meant just like running in without and going against orders and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then we see like some of that ribbing from Hen and Eddie. And like even the first shot of this episode where it's just like Buck drooling on the window. It's just kind of like,
oh my God, so
it's so funny, but it's also just like, I don't know. It's like
and him staring at Marjan.
Yeah.
And Hen being like, what the fuck is your problem? And Eddie is also like, dude, stop. And he's like, I'm not staring. To cut TK being like, I think that guy's staring. I don't know. It was all just so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like them showing up and like setting up like the characters getting introduced.
I do love also the admission that Buck has when, you know, TK is talking about his dad and Buck is talking about Bobby's like, he's not my dad, but he's like as good as. And it's just like one of those rare moments where Buck really articulates the role that Bobby has in his life. And it so often isn't directly to Bobby. We see it like one time in, I think it's after Fallout. So that must be the Christmas Spirit episode, I think. And, you know, he just doesn't say it that often, but it's nice to get that reiteration.
Yeah, I know they were doing it to like, you know, with the TK like mirroring or whatever, but like it also again is like we meet his actual father in the next episode.
Yes.
And then you're just like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
So it's really bringing up a lot of stuff for Buck in a way that like I don't feel they didn't really get to do with any of the other characters from OG and Lone Star. But again, this is like a kind of hindsight sort of thing, right? Like you wouldn't necessarily pick it out in the moment, but like after seeing 404 and 405, then you'd be like, oh.
I don't know, because it's like if you watched it weekly, it would be fresh in your mind. Like, oh, he just said this last week that Bobby's like as good as his father. You know what I mean? Like it still would be fresh on your mind, like the stuff that just happened the previous week, but like the overarching stuff, like probably not.
Yeah. Thematically is just really interesting. And I guess that goes to prove in my mind that like they're really, or Tim is laying down a lot of stuff for Buck's arc in season 4 and even beforehand, that they had a very clear vision for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they laid the most groundwork for this Beacons episode more than any other one. Like, this is the, like, if you didn't know Buck's the main character, like, this string of episodes it tells you.
Mm-hmm. It's like the breadcrumbing foreshadowiness that we saw in season 2 with Shannon's death. It's that kind of foresight that I think is being laid down.
Yeah, because they showed up and they were like, we're putting him through the emotional horrors this season. Like they knew from the beginning, in the same way that they were like, we're going to introduce Eddie's wife and she's also going to die. Like they knew that going in. Same thing for sure.
I'm going to address something that is going to be, I guess, widely controversial.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Because everybody loves to talk about how, TK is, TK is Texas Buck. Oh, Ryan Hart is Nashville Buck. These characters are nothing alike at all.
No.
If you actually watch the episodes, like I said, Marjan is 100% the Buck of Nashville. She's a daredevil. She's doing all these crazy stunts. Like she's constantly putting herself in these like kind of risky situations not because she wants to be like the hero, but because she likes the like adrenaline of it. She likes to do all these things. And there is an episode where that starts to kind of like bite back at her. Where she tries to save someone, like, because she's famous, people know her, someone's filming her and be like, oh, Firefox gonna go do the rescue. And she's like, oh, like, harnessed up and I'm ready to go, some stuff like that. And then she fails to save the person, they die pretty tragically. And then...
so like 102.
Like 102.
Yeah. So then it kind of turns everything. She realizes that, like, this is not, like, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to be like this attention thrill ride kind of person anymore. She kind of wants to switch that up. And she does that. She stops kind of relying on, adrenaline and stuff to get it through. She focuses more on like her instincts and stuff like that. And she fully thinks out stuff now, but instead of like, doing all that. And there is a episode in season 4 where she gets fired from the Austin Fire Department because she calls a woman crazy. She doesn't want to get out of her motor home that's been hijacked. It's a very confusing plot. And then when she gets fired, she goes on a road trip and she encounters a couple who are vloggers. And then she finds out they're actually in an abusive relationship and she's trying to help the girl get out, but the girl doesn't want to leave for some reason because she doesn't think anybody's going to believe her. So when she finally helps the girl get away, the girl comes back and then you think Marjan has given up. And then they're in the caravan and like he's like being really abusive and crappy towards his girlfriend. And then in the background, you can see like Marjan on her like little motorcycle tailing behind them. And then she parks her bike at a gas stop and she gets inside the van and she starts live streaming like the stuff to her followers and stuff. I think is she live streaming? No, I think she's just recording it actually. And she records like the abuse and stuff like that. And then she comes out and she like full on knocks the guy out with a fire extinguisher. And then the girl can get him like locked up and then he goes to jail. And then there's evidence now and she doesn't need to go back to him. And then it's like she's actually like starting to like think out things and trying to help people. And it's a very nice character progress for her. And then the following episode, the guy gets out and then like tries to kill her. So there's that as well.
Great.
But yeah, that's what I was like. So yeah, I do think Marjan is Nashville Buck, but I wouldn't want to put her in the box of being the female equivalent of a male character because she is not. She is her own character.
Right.
Yeah.
Grand scheme of things, I don't think there's like anyone in OG is like TK at all. I don't think anyone in OG is like, because people also tried to say that like Carlos was like, oh, he's like Lone Star Eddie. He's not.
Where?
Like you can't put these characters into these boxes just because like, oh, like there's Buddie and there's Talos, so they must be the same. They aren't. And I don't think Talos was ever the answer to her.
No.
That's such like a shallow like reading of it.
Yeah, the people like to say that Buddie was like the answer to Talos. It wasn't. The whole thing for Lone Star was like it was going to be this very like insanely diverse show. I believe Paul is like the first series regular Black male trans character to ever be a series regular on TV, which was a huge step.
That's awesome.
And then you have Marjan, then you have Mateo. Mateo, they focused on like immigration and stuff like that. His issues with that from the very first season, where he has to take his test again to try and stay in the Austin Fire Department because he's also like dyslexic and he can't pass the written test for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I'm dyslexic too. I get it. 100%.
Well, but that scene was cute, though.
I failed many tests. Yeah. I like that he faked them all out and tried to imply that he failed.
No, but like how they also like worked together because they recorded.
Yeah, they recorded the audiobooks.
Yeah.
For him to understand.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I don't think Talos was ever the answer to Buddie.
No.
Anyway, they're not alike. TK is not like Buck though. And especially with Ryan in Nashville, you guys have seen Nashville, he is nothing like Buck. He is way too serious. He will not take a risk. He will not like do daredevil stunts. I think the riskiest thing he did was the fridge stunt in the bridge scene.
Yeah.
And even then that was like highly thought out. You know what I mean?
The biggest comparison I can make is just that like they're both like golden retrievers and very earnest.
Oh, 100%.
But like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think there's as much crossover in the characterization as
I
people
think a
seem
lot
to think
of
there is.
Yeah, I think there's things come from people who haven't watched Nashville.
Shocking.
That's not like a lot of my problems with it. People who say that 911 Lone Star is garbage and it's not worth watching are people who haven't seen it, but they've been told that it's not good from people who also haven't seen it. So they just passing down the line and being like, this show's bad, don't watch it. And then
Just
I
make the
believe
opinion for yourself.
That's one of the first things that I told these shows, like, Lone Star is actually enjoyable if you don't have a little bitch in your ear telling you that it sucks.
Exactly. And I feel the same way about Nashville because it is, I'm enjoying it. It's a great show. And
us too.
Yeah.
We're really loving it.
But there's people who are like, oh, this show is so bad. Look how bad the green screen is. Look how bad like the acting is and stuff like that. It's like,
I'm like, it's par for the course. It's the same across the board.
This is the thing. And I love 911 OG. What a show. Incredible. Deserves all the Emmys in my opinion. From an outsider point of view, if you are not fully invested in this world, this show looks stupid as fuck. I mean, it looks like a mess. Like the space
and it goes
stuff.
viral for looking stupid as fuck at the beginning of every season.
Takes 911 seriously outside of us who are all invested in this world? They're not.
No.
So if you look at Nashville and you're not invested in it, of course you're going to think it's stupid. Do you know how many people, like the Asteroid series finale for 911 Lone Star, everybody who was a fan of the show was like, holy crap, like the world is ending, like this is crazy. And then you had 911 fans like, oh, the fuck is going on in Texas? Like this is so stupid. It's like, you don't get it. If you're not obsessed with these, like this version of the format, and you're not like fully invested in these characters, you're not gonna give a crap and you're gonna think it looks dumb. And the same goes for Orgy.
Because you don't have like the emotional connection to the characters, which is the heart of all of the shows.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay. So let's talk about Eddie, Judd, Marjan, and Paul. What little we get of Paul.
All the cool people on Lone Star.
They really are the cool people.
They gave them to Eddie.
Yep.
Because he's the cool person.
The cool person. But I think we'd also, since you said Judd is like your favorite character, I think we'd love to chat a little bit about the team pair up between Eddie, Judd, Marjan, and Paul.
Right, yeah. I always forget Paul is like in that show because they did not focus on him in that.
No.
He was just kind of like on the outside, but still there.
It's like the periphery. Yeah.
Same with like Mateo with like Buck and TK. He's like just there.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where the flaw of only having 3 OG characters come in was a bit of an issue because you couldn't have everybody paired up with somebody.
Because you couldn't pair them up equally.
Yeah. And they're like, they did as much as they could with like the 1-to-1s, but then they had to like bring everyone else in. Yeah,
I think Eddie and Judd team up was pretty good. It wasn't like a team up like Buck and TK where they tried to put together the characters who were more similar. It was more so just like the 2 characters who like had similar upbringings and they kind of tease each other about it and like, you know, stuff like that. It wasn't, I wouldn't say they have anything close to the same personality because they do not at all.
No.
Well, you were talking about Judd's like origin story of like what happened like to his crew before the new one.
Yeah, they all die in the opening scene.
That reminded me of Eddie immediately. I was like, oh, it's Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, I guess that.
It's the helicopter. It's saving everyone, but they actually all died. So I didn't actually save anyone. I'm having a mental breakdown.
That is very true. But they unfortunately never let them address that to each other. I feel like they could have bonded over that.
They could have.
Yeah.
I guess that's not really something you bond with a stranger with on a work outing. But
you know, surface level chat, all that stuff.
Yeah, like they had the same like opposing high school teams and stuff like that, which I question why they
wibbly wobbly timey.
Yeah, like why would they make that the thing when they weren't even the same age at all? But think a bit about why they would put the 2 of them together outside of just being 2 guys from Texas.
I kind of think that it was like an equal pair up between Eddie and Judd, but then Eddie and Marjan, because you also have like these 2 like really confident, competent like people, and they kind of like see it in each other as well.
Eddie and Marjan make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I've seen like a lot of people like imply that like, oh, Eddie and Marjan were clearly like hitting on each other. They weren't.
No,
those 2 were quitting out.
If you watch 911 Lone Star and the continuity of that, it doesn't make sense for that to be Marjan like flirting at all.
I know literally nothing about Marjan other than this episode, but I was like, that's two gay people talking to each other.
Yeah. Oh my god, the biggest loss in Lone Star is Marjan not being a lesbian.
Yeah.
I just looked at her and assumed that she was. I'm sorry.
There was a very strong like understanding that we thought Marjan was going to be a lesbian and she was probably going to get put with Nancy because they did promote Nancy to series regular. She's not in the crossover. I don't know if you guys know her.
Another paramedic.
Nancy works on EMS.
Okay.
She doesn't get promoted until season 3 though. But she is there for the first season. She's not in the crossover because her best friend just died. Her best friend was Tim.
Yeah. I mean,
yes, and she's not dealing with it great, as we see in the ending of the previous episode. And then, what was I talking about? Marjan and Eddie. Right.
Yes,
they were not flirting.
No.
If you watch 911 Star, Marjan is a bit of a show-off. She likes to like flaunt her like big rescue. She's like, I would say that she's closer to Buck than TK is.
Yeah.
They put TK and Buck together because of the similarities.
Because of the dad.
Yeah.
They did address it though, because Buck is like obsessed with Firefox. Follows her on Instagram, can't stop looking at her. And I get why they didn't pair them together, because it would have just been Buck being like obsessed with her and trying to like talk to her and be like, oh, it's this and stuff. And then instead you get TK and you get Buck and they're talking about like, oh, like I did this, I saved someone off a roller coaster. And then what is TK talking about? They tried to speed run Lone Star Rescues, but there's only 10 episodes.
TK was talking about someone drowning in a bus.
And the finale.
See, not comparable because 911 Lone Star has not done enough like rescues for this interaction to make sense, because he mentions the bus, right? And he mentions saving someone off the top of a building in New York. And that's the opening call of the first episode and the last call of the finale from season 1. So it's not, I don't know. I don't think they could have just made some stuff up for TK, I think, but I guess you wouldn't be able to tell what he's talking about. But yeah, I do think that Marjan Buck would have been a fun crossover duo, but like, we'll never get to see it now.
It was giving me the vibes of like Eddie with what's her face in season 2, who I also think is gay.
Lena?
Is her name? Thank you, Lena.
Lena?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Season 2? Season 3.
Season 3. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, Lena.
Yeah. And like Buck had the same reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of like him teaming up with someone who isn't him.
I think Eddie was a bit cooler about it though.
Yeah. I mean, Eddie's very cool about it. But I'm saying Buck had the same reaction to like Eddie partnering up with Lena.
Oh, I thought you meant like he had the same reaction. I was like, no, he was very cool around him. No. Yeah.
Eddie's always, well, I mean, he's cool with other people.
Yeah, for sure. He's very chill.
Yeah.
Like when that actress he liked from season, 6?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very chill with her.
Yeah.
Was that from Curse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy plot, because it doesn't like, I don't know why they did all that, and it doesn't like, she never comes back.
I don't know. I thought they were going to be friends.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be friends too.
I really liked that episode.
I know. It's so interesting to see the interactions between Eddie and Marjan specifically, because like they're both like so competent and like they can kind of appraise that in the other one. And like when Eddie just goes up and volunteers for the little strike team, and I was just like, yes, there's the competent, confident, reputation precedes him Eddie that we know and love.
No, I was just going to say, I know we talked about this a little bit with Trenton regarding Judd and Eddie, but like, I think there's kind of like some like nuggets here also where as to like why they got also paired up. So like, with Marjan, it's like the cool, competent, it's the 3 C's, cool, and competent, right? Like she does some of the daring rescues that I know like Buck would also do the daring rescues, but like Eddie also does these too in that 3C manner. With Judd, it's all, so not only do they have like that little thing with like their high schools and the fact that they're from Texas, but like especially like watching Eddie in season 9, right? I think this is where I'm kind of getting it too. So Judd is kind of like when Owen is not available, he's kind of like, he's not his lieutenant at all, but he is the senior member there. So he kind of does call the shots if Owen's not there, or if Owen gives him that authority to do it. So there's a little bit of that thread between those two as well, where like Eddie can also analyze the situation and find solutions as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just rereading this quote from Tim with Eddie's part of the team up. He said, "You put all of these characters into a crucible like a wildfire, and it really does feel like they're an army going up against an enemy. So bonding happens quickly and deeply." And I think that really kind of is, in summary, like what this group of like 4 ends up being. It's kind of like, they're almost literally in the trenches together in that way. And it's just like, again, you just see how Eddie operates so cool and calm under fire. I think Marjan says at some point, it's just like, that's who he is. Like in chaos and in crisis, he is so steady. It's every other
Sorry, I was just thinking about the juxtaposition of like him like this in actual crisis, and then anytime someone implies the woman he's dating could be his wife.
I mean, we've talked about this before. It's one of the reasons that he might feel the need to blow up his life, because things are too complacent and he needs that chaos. And it's absolutely a coping mechanism, but this kind of environment is where he thrives because he can push everything else away and just focus on the here and now and his skills and his knowledge. And it also like helps that he's affable and people are kind of drawn to him and like respect him, and he gains that very quickly, but he also gives it out to the other people that he's with as well. So it just like that team bonding is like kind of immediate, which is also so funny because that does contrast with Buck in 201. Sorry. I didn't realize I had that much to say.
Anyway, it was nice seeing him be paramedic.
Yeah.
The paramedic crumbs.
We love that.
Yeah. So competent. Just like some of the looks that Marjan gives him too is just like so like appraising. Like,
yeah,
I'm impressed.
I have things to say about that.
Yeah.
in other ways. I think this was my favorite of the team ups was Eddie with Judd and Marjan and Paul.
Yeah.
Who was also there sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I just enjoyed that dynamic the most. Like I thought it was the most fun.
Maybe because it also had like multiple people to pull from.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's just because it's Eddie.
I think I just actually like Judd and Marjan.
Yeah.
And it's Eddie. But like, I think I actually just like Judd and Marjan the best out of the Lone Star people, from what I know, which is limited.
No, that's valid.
You're like, that's correct. Okay.
They seem like some of the most interesting people.
Yeah.
No, Paul too, actually. Yeah.
I just feel like I know the least about him because I feel like he was barely in this episode.
Yeah, he is barely in this episode. But I think you're correct in terms of like who are for me too, like the more interesting characters being Judd, Marjan, Paul.
I want to see more of Marjan.
We suffer from plot A syndrome. But that's for all of them, so I can't even say.
Yeah. Anyway, should we get into this best buddy section? Okay, so you know the drill. Before we get into Slow Burn, which I think is going to be a really great one, it's time for the Best Buddy section. So shout out to our best buddies on Patreon.
Thank you so much. Aaron, Alexandria, Alexis, Alma, Amanda, Amber, Amy, Annie, Annika, Anthony, Aradia, Asha, Aubrey T, and Aubrey G, Callie, Casey, Christian, Dana, Destina, Doina, Elizabeth, Ella, Ellie, Emmy, Emily, Jane, Erica, Eveline,
Gabby, Gil, Gracie, Jane, Haley, Inika, Irv, Jen, Jin, Joey, Juan, Jules, Kel, Kenny, Quincy, Leah, Leslie, Madeline, Marianto, Max, Maya, Mike,
Millie, Mishi, Nat, Patricia, Paul J, Pigeon, Poppy, Ash, aka Proxima Nightmare, Rachel, Rebel, Sephi, Sheila, Sherry, Stacy, Tina, TJ, Triss, Wade, Zachary.
So we're about to start a mini segment that they voted for. How did the drive-by visit to Helena and Ramon's on the way home back to LA go?
It's exclusive to the Best Buddies tier of Patreon.
So if you'd like to vote on and hear special mini segments each episode
and get a personalized shout out, subscribe to our Patreon.
Who's ready for a slow burn about a wildfire? It's not burning very slow. It's pretty fast, actually.
It's catching.
It's catching fire.
My God. Okay. Let's talk about bisexual Buckley. I know he was like staring at Marjan, but like I think he's got a type, right? In terms of like having Lone Star paired up Marjan and Eddie. Eddie and Marjan doing badass things or acting badass or cool, calm, and collected and competent. Fine, there's like 4 C's or whatever. Buck has a type in that.
He does. It kind of goes beyond Eddie and Marjan. He thinks like Tommy is so cool.
Yeah.
He kind of thinks Taylor is so cool because she's so good at her job.
She can be badass too, kind of.
Yeah. Abby, I guess, cares a lot about her job.
Competent at her job. Yeah. Even though she's,
He really thought Natalia's job was really cool.
Yeah.
And that what she does was like really special and help people. So he was impressed by that.
And I also really love that, like, with the shots of Buck looking over and like staring at Marjan, there is Marjan and TK in that same shot. So like, same eye line.
I think he got the vibes from Buck.
Oh, immediately.
After they started to establish that kind of connection between like the dads, and then him pulling the whole "I'm gonna steal your fire truck to save your dad" type of thing. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, if you're ever in LA, let's get together." And then he's like, "Okay, wait."
No, he absolutely clocked his shit.
Yeah.
I just do not think this was the moment in which he clocked his shit.
I think it's after all the connection, the ripping off each other, the competitiveness.
I have a note here about what moment I think he clocked his shit. It's when Buck is literally flirting with him because he looks him up and down and does his little fucking eyelash flutter shit.
Which part was
and
that?
says, "Nice moves, by the way. Good reflexes."
Oh, okay, yeah.
And TK is like,
when the car comes down with the dog and the guy, that was really weird. And
because they were like, that was weird, right? Like they're having that whole conversation.
Mm-hmm. Like I think the only point of that whole thing was to like, get them to like, hey, that was really cool. And the flirting thing.
It was literally just Buck flirting with someone who did something cool because that's what he does.
He's just attracted to cool people.
He's just a girl. He's just a girl.
Because he's so uncool. Like,
he is deeply
affectionately.
Uncool. Yeah. Said as a fellow deeply uncool person.
He's just so earnest. So I think Buck really appreciates when someone is just like has the cool factor radiating off of them. And that's kind of like emphasized with the whole like he's trying to be cool, which is why they have like that weird like measuring competition.
But he also is talking to TK like he talks to Eddie while they're on the job, like during this whole call. So it's flirting because that's also what he does with Eddie. Yeah. Okay. Especially like that moment, because when he says the nice moves with the fluttering eyelashes, looking him up and down, he also does like a little pat, which he, that's establishing touch. Like it's.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks he's just being normal, but it's like, my dude, this shit is not normal, even when you do it with Eddie, especially when you do it with Eddie. No. But yeah, TK absolutely clocked him then, because he makes a face, because like Buck says it as he's walking away, like he pats him, looks him up and down, says the thing, walks away. And as he's walking away, TK is making a weird face. Wait a minute.
Yeah. And like that whole like weird measuring competition they have about like, my call is weirder than your call sort of thing. Like that's just flirting, mating ritual. Like it's, and then Mateo is over here just kind of like observing.
Mateo being the number one Steve Tony shipper.
No, for real. Like, come on. And then at the end, when, Buck is like, if you're ever in LA, we should get together. And TK is just like, sure, I gotta mention, I already have a boyfriend and it's pretty serious. And then Buck is just like, cue flustering.
Blue screens.
Yeah.
Like he blue screens completely because he's like, wait, why would that? Yeah. Wish he would have reflected on that. Maybe he would have in therapy if he didn't have to talk about his parents for the next 2 episodes.
That might have been
like weird thing happened to me. I was just being normal, saying normal things like I always do.
Because I just made a new friend
with while being a firefighter.
Yeah.
And he thought that I was hitting on him.
Why would he think that?
Do I come across as gay?
Yeah, like I feel like any of that reflection is just like swiftly swept off the board because having to deal with parental trauma first and foremost, which like maybe more important.
And Eddie immediately shows up right after that happens. So it's
so funny.
It's like a dog with a tennis ball, like the attention.
I'm gonna forget about that. There were a couple quotes from Tim regarding the Buck and TK team up, specifically about TK assuming that Buck was into him. But Tim was saying that TK assuming facts that are not necessarily in evidence, but it was a great way for us to tip our hats to the Tarlos relationship because they couldn't get everybody into the episode. It also makes no sense to bring a police officer to a wildfire 200 miles away. So just like the logistics of why Carlos wasn't there. But Tim also said, I know there's a raging discussion among the fans about that particular aspect of Buck. And I would say moments like that on the show reflect on the internal debate that goes on with the show itself. And when asked if Buck is completely unaware of how he comes off to people, Tim said, I think he might be fully unaware.
Fully unaware.
But the whole, this little snippet of like, this reflects the internal debate that goes on within the show itself is so indicative to me of like, they were having active conversations at this time about by Buck. And I know we talked about this in one of our Best Buddies segment where it was like, do we think season 4 was supposed to be the introduction of like a queer Buck arc? And this is one of like the most, I mean, I know it's interpretive, but like this is kind of to me one of the most
that's one of the most blatant things he's said about like them actually like, I know I say the quote from him all the time from season 7 where he's already canon by like, but I've been coding this since at least in season 2, but this is season 4 and he's like saying, oh yeah, we're talking about this in the writer's room. That's what this literally says.
I mean, he says it goes on within the show itself. So like on a show standpoint, it is in the text.
Yeah.
More realistically, the subtext, but on a meta level, they are having these conversations to intentionally inject it into the subtext.
Right.
So that it can become text later on. And I think that is so fascinating. That is like as probably a smoking gun that we're gonna get of that.
To confirm that this was like the start.
In the time period of which they were working on season 4.
Yeah.
And I know there's like room for like interpretation here, but that is pretty solid stone to me. So I thought that was real interesting. Thank you, Tim.
That is interesting.
This is why I do these articles. Thanks, Dad. Yeah. So just like fascinating that they would pop that in there. And I really kind of think that was maybe an insisted thing from Tim. Because like, how else would they necessarily like know that's kind of what they were putting down for OG? So
Eddie abandons Buck to go to the fire lane with Marjan. And like, he doesn't even say like, I'm going. It's just like she pulls up after Buck's like, it looks like it's just going to be you and me. Romantic hike. And he just like looks at her. Yes, I know. And he's like, you're going with her? And it reminded me of two things. It reminded me of Lena in season 3 of like when he shows up and like Eddie just leaves to go spot her. And then he looks over and her Osco is written over his ugly. And it also reminds me of 704.
Yeah.
Pick any point in 704, but I'm thinking specifically of like when Eddie shows up like 2. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what the fuck is happening? It's the same face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Buck's jealousy face of like Eddie is spending time with someone who is not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a light bulb moment right as you were starting this, because it's when you said that Marjan just pulls up and says like, hey, we're going to do the thing. Eddie doesn't tell Buck that he's abandoning him. So it's yet another instance of something that Buck just has to find out that Eddie doesn't actually tell him about. And it's like, how many times are we seeing this pattern
I mean, like literally everything.
But she just pulled up and he just got there.
Yeah.
So to be fair, when was he going to?
So I mean that's fair too, but it's just
his perception.
Yeah. It's just like Eddie didn't tell me. I just found out by happenstance.
I also think this really leans into what we've been seeing, especially this season, talking about his therapy and talking about how Buck is never lonely when he is with Eddie. So like it was like, oh well, Hen's leaving, but it's gonna be you and me, and he's still excited for it, right? But then it's like his entire demeanor changes when he realizes Eddie's leaving him because he is sad and lonely when he isn't with Eddie. So it's just all feeding into everything that's going on with him right now and what's about to happen too.
So interesting.
It's very interesting.
Like how quickly Buck is like jealous or threatened by someone else.
No, and it's like a serious jealous face. Like there's a thing you do with your friend, your closest friends, right? When they talk about hanging out with other people who are not in your group of people, like we do it to each other. It's like, we didn't approve of that.
Yeah.
No, the council does not approve that PTO for you to hang out with other friends. Like, but it's like joking about it, right? We aren't like,
because we communicate that like it's fine.
Yeah, but we aren't like silently stewing in jealousy that like you actually have other friends and spend any time with other people who aren't us. Like that's crazy.
Buck doesn't do it in like a hee hee ha ha.
It's never hee hee ha ha because he's like, I'm actually, no, you're leaving me because you have other friends.
Yeah, because you
must hate me and want me dead.
He's so insecure about his position in Eddie's life, even though his revolves around Eddie. Like literally Eddie is his son and he's just like revolving around it. And anytime Eddie, like his orbit shifts, it's just like, wait.
It's his and the face he makes the entire time at the basketball game in 704. And meanwhile, Eddie's having the time of his life because Buck finally showed up to the basketball game.
Oh my God.
Like we know Eddie loves spending time with Buck.
He invites him to everything, even the things he doesn't like to do.
Yeah.
It's like I always invite him and he never comes. It's like finally shows up and then does all this jealous mess. He's a disaster.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's so many little nuggets in this episode for
both of them.
By Buck. And for Eddie, let's talk about Eddie. So I have a thing that's like not a huge thing, but it's feeding into the stuff that like we already know about, like the religious trauma.
Oh yeah.
And how that's especially relevant this season in 905 that just happened. And you can hear us talk about the queer coding in that in our 905 episode. So Eddie's talking to Judd, and he reveals that he is from Texas. He's from El Paso. And then Judd's like, what school? And he says LaSalle. And I looked it up. There is no school called LaSalle in El Paso, but LaSalle is all of the ones I could find were all boys Catholic schools in like connected to the educational principles of Saint John Baptiste de La Salle. And like they emphasize, I guess, because like of whatever he's the saint of. I don't know Catholicism. I'm sorry if this isn't quite correct, but this is actually from the equivalent school that I found that exists IRL in El Paso, Cathedral High School, which is an all boys school. On their website, like it says the thing about Saint John Baptiste La Salle, and it says that they focus on like the things that saint did, emphasizing faith, academic excellence. So like it is a private school that is like a college preparatory school, and service. So I was like, wow, he had no chance.
Check.
He had no chance. So like we knew that he stopped going to confession. We don't know about church. Like I think he was still made to go to church, like to mass, but he stopped going to confession when he was young or like younger.
Middle school age-ish, probably.
But he never escaped the religiosity in school. Like he was always in it. So like even if he stopped going to middle school, at least his high school was filled with religion still.
Yeah.
So like my guy, it's just so interesting to me, like spotting that. Like I think like this line I forgot about, but like I knew that somewhere in canon we find out that he went to Catholic school.
Do we? Where?
it's from here, but I thought we knew, like, because it's talked about like in fic, and we talk about it like in meta. So I was like, I think it's from canon, but I can't remember from where. It's from this episode, because this is when he talks about LaSalle, and like that is, like I said, a Catholic school, probably an all-boys school. And I know that it's implied-ish that him and Shannon went to school together, but all he says is like they met in a certain grade, and we know they didn't even meet in school.
Yeah.
They met in a certain grade, and then they reconnected in a certain grade. So it's just kind of like they were the same age.
I think he said they met in 8th grade and reconnected in 12th. So like ostensibly she could have gone to like the nearby public high school, or if there was like an equivalent, like
I don't think she was Catholic. School. Like her family is not giving.
So like there were probably like some sort of mixers or you know, smaller town.
And like maybe like he's using grade as the equivalent to age,
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a way for the writers to keep things vague enough that they don't have to state a year or an age, because they don't actually know.
So there's a little wiggle room there. But like the idea of Eddie going to Catholic school, you know, reconnecting with Shannon in 12th grade, and then like, if not immediately, depending on wibbly wobbly timeline stuff, then very soon after, you know, like getting her pregnant and having Christopher and stuff, is just like, I feel like that kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I also think it's just interesting that he goes from, I'm literally going to die on the hill if it was an all boys Catholic school. So he goes from an all boys Catholic school to the army to a male predominant field where there's only one woman at work. Like,
oops, all men. I wonder why he is drawn to these environments, one might ponder. And the subconscious.
Just saying, it's that we don't have to keep this in, but it's that thing that I keep seeing going around right now about like, you're like when Buck and Eddie finally get together, and Buck's like, I know that you don't know anything about this. Like, I'll help you through it. And he's like, no, I've seen it in Afghanistan. It's like, maybe he saw it in high school. He was at an all boys school. Like,
oh my God.
No, but it also
could be either.
And it also like ties into another like line that we get in 905, because I mean, we get these little like things that Eddie does, these little petty crimes that he does throughout the season, and then we get full on, oh yeah, you just needed to rebel against something from Isabel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, yeah, the Diaz's put him through. You've got man of the house, you've got ballroom dancer, who he enjoyed being a ballroom dancer, but then they made it too competitive, and like it was just like not fun anymore. Also going to an all boys Catholic school,
which was like college preparatory. So like I looked into it, like I think it's like a good school, and it gets you like into nice college. It's like one of those where it helps sets you up for a path for like nice colleges. Yeah. So he probably had like good grades. Well, knowing who Eddie is as a person.
He had good grades.
Yes, but like he had good grades and from a good school. So that's why his mom is so pissed that he didn't go to college.
Oh, yeah. Does he say that he didn't want to go? Or
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Another like kind of like rebellion in a way. Yeah. So he's just like trying to like escape that kind of upbringing in a way.
And the expectations put upon him for everything. So he's bucking expectations anywhere he can.
Yeah.
Pun intended. But it's like,
I mean, he's kind of doing that
a
little bit.
I'm also thinking about like, I think it's 7 of 5. Is that called You Don't Know Me?
Yes.
When he's doing whatever suggestive workout. Dips. He's doing dips. And he's like, it's like I'm a Manchurian Catholic. And I looked it up because I was like, I vaguely know what this means. So the Manchurian comes from like the book, The Manchurian, and like, in its original context is talking about like communist brainwashing. So it's like he's literally referring to Catholicism as brainwashing.
Yeah.
It's all just so queer coded. Like it's, I don't know, man. It's crazy. They do so much subtle queer coding with him, but like it's like you add up all the subtlety and then you're just looking at like a giant neon sign.
You really are like,
we really need to do that Eddie Diaz queer coding episode.
I know.
No, it's coming up, I think. Well, we're doing the dating is performing.
Dating is performing. Yeah. There's so much here. And I think we spoke a little bit about, Hannah, I think you said Eddie and the pair up with Marjan kind of reminded you of Lena as well. And it's just like, to me, it's so interesting because Eddie ends up having like the most chemistry with female characters who are like nowhere in the proximity near romantic interest potential for them.
Who come across as gay. Like, I'm sorry, they just do. Like Lena and Marjan.
But also, what's the actress's name?
He loves lesbians. Curse? He has great chemistry with Hen.
Well, we thought Marjan could have been one. Yeah. Lena definitely gives the vibes.
The girl from Cursed, who
she also gives off.
I absolutely thought that she was into her best friend / assistant.
Yes,
there's a like, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure. You might have to find it.
I might.
But it's just like, it's so interesting that consistently we see Eddie have like the most connection and like on-screen chemistry with these
with women that aren't going to be love interests or do not even have any like vibe of being a love interest.
No chance.
Because it's not like a threat.
Yes. It's not something that he has to perform.
Exactly. That one. Yeah.
And he gets to feel like his most normal self, especially in a setting like this episode where he gets to fall back on his like cool, calm competency that is so impressive to everyone else and like endears himself to others and like garners that respect. But it's like, to him, it's not in a like, let me impress you with like how cool and awesome I am sort of thing, because one, that's not Eddie, but two, it's just like it's so like not even entering his head to like
I think he
display that.
And I think he also gets to drop some of the like more machismo stuff that he naturally does around either groups of people or just like men in general, where he gets to lean more into like being emotionally open.
Yeah, and I feel like I've talked about this before where I was like, okay, definitely like was a part of or like helped raise his sisters and like not having, I mean, okay, so like you have Ramon telling him to be like man of the house and whatever, but like obviously he's got to have like some kind of softness being around his two younger sisters. And like that's another thing. Like I just feel like he's, I think, also comfortable being around women again, or women are also comfortable being around him. Unfortunately, I guess I'll say unfortunately. I can't say another word for this. Unfortunately, there are women who I guess do end up developing feelings for him, and that never works.
It's unfortunate for them every time.
It's kind of unfortunate for them, but it's just what it is. Like I think he's just like a comfortable guy to be around, and maybe for him it's also like you said, like he can drop some of the like machismo stuff that he has naturally by being around other women, and that's why I think like he has like chemistry, but not in the romantic sense.
Yeah. It's, I think, because the expectation is so not centered around like potential romantic interest. That it's more like the expectation is this person is on his team. It is part of like that unit, that
camaraderie,
that familial.
Oh, Mills.
Like Mills. Yeah. Thank you. From Afghanistan. And because it's like they're so like in the box of like coworker, person he respects, person that he doesn't have to put on that performance because that expectation of like something more isn't there. And same thing with the girl in Curse. I keep forgetting her name because she
isn't it Felisa?
Thank you. Yes, Felisa. Because she was someone they met on a call and had to help out. It was that way for Marisol until it wasn't. But this is also probably one of the reasons why it didn't work. Because she was placed in that certain box. And we know Eddie loves to compartmentalize in that way. So it's just like,
and honestly, if you put like the comparison, so like the comparison of like seeing Anna at a call, and then I guess maybe Marjan, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that there was no like Eddie's obviously not doing that weird awkward thing that he was doing with Anna. You know what I mean? So like, that's why it's like,
it was like a performance.
Yeah. that's a performance. This is more chill. This is more natural.
Yeah, because he was like, he had to impress her, right? Because when he met, he had to impress her because he was representing Christopher. So like there was an element of performance there.
He's literally, this is not need to go in this episode. It's the dating is performing thing, but he literally is like, anytime he's in a meet cute instance, that is when he's like, well, the universe is telling me that I must be in my Hallmark movie now.
For someone who doesn't believe in the universe.
Yes. Because he did that with both Anna and Marisol. Like,
do you think that is one of the reasons why he distrusts the universe? Because he's like, you're telling me I should be in a rom-com, but then you're making it less. And
meanwhile, the universe is like
more dram.
It's like, how many times can I throw Evan Buckley at you?
So many. Speaking of which, there is a moment where Eddie is talking about Buck to Marjan.
Yeah, they're both looking at their phones, talking about how cool they are. And he sends her an invite or sends her a request to like see her Instagram because like he wants to see it because Buck talked about it. And she makes it like a reciprocal thing. Well, like I have to see yours. So then they're looking at each other's Instagram feeds and she's like, this is your kid. And he's like, oh yeah, like he's my world. I'm doing the whole single dad thing. Sure. Facts. And then she's like, you didn't build him a skateboard. Well, no, he didn't. Buck helped. And he says that with a fond smile, like literally right after he said, I'm doing the single dad thing.
With help from my platonic best friend, partner, person, soulmate.
She is clocking him. Like, I feel like TK clock Buck just for being like fruity, but I feel like Marjan is clocking the co-parenting partnership.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm doing the whole single dad thing. And we don't see his face the whole time he says that, which I found weird. We're looking at her reaction to him saying that and scrolling through the thing.
I did find like some of her reactions to Eddie like really interesting. Like, I think it would be easily interpreted as like, oh, she's interested in him. But again, I think it's more on like a mutual respect sort of thing. And that grows more when she learns that he has a kid and he's doing it on his own, which is very similar to how Buck reacted when he found out about Christopher in 202.
I think like some of the looks, or at least the one specific look that I think you're talking about, also when she finds out about Christopher, I think it's kind of like definitely like kind of like an admiration in that kind of way, not like an interest, just like admiring, like, oh, you have, he does it all, yeah. And I tie that into how she starts that conversation about like, oh, how can you be so calm and collected, because like I think she also she really does genuinely want to know that answer. So, and I don't really think it was out of romantic interest at all.
No, but it is interesting that with that conversation of how do you keep so cool, calm, and collected, we have that mention of Buck help, which is one of the reasons why Eddie stays so cool, calm, collected, because he has Buck to like keep him sane for so much.
And to help him be a single parent. Right. So she's looking at the picture, right, of Buck is in the picture because she's like, wait, is that the creepy guy who was staring at me before? He's like, he's harmless mostly. Like, I don't know. I just think that she was making some interesting faces while he was talking about Buck for, half of that conversation that they have.
Yeah. And the whole, like, he's harmless mostly. And then he asks, he like basically puts in a good word for Buck to her. Like, please follow him back. Like, do this solid for my platonic soulmate. Like, now that I've gotten in with you, like, do this nice thing for my best friend.
Follow him back. He's being so annoying about it.
It also could be like apology for leaving you to go with her.
Grand gesture.
Yeah, I talked you up.
Yeah.
I talked you up.
Like, that's probably what happened, right? Like, Buck gets the follow back and he's like, oh, Firefox followed me. And then Eddie's just like, I did that,
Yeah.
And did we say this at some point? Did one of you say this? Maybe.
I don't know what you're about to say.
I feel like at some point someone said that, like, you could look at him like volunteering to team up with her.
Oh, I said that.
Very tiny. Yes. Okay. It was you. About like him just like sussing her out.
Vibe check. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Buck was literally really creepily staring at her. So it was like, okay, like I'll see if this person is worth Buck's time. Because the last couple have not been.
Yeah. It is a little sussing her out, and I think it's also like, well, this is something that Buck is interested in. So like it must be worthwhile almost. And I think it's so funny that Eddie basically was like sussing her out and then just dropped like he didn't know who she was, and then just like dropped the thank whatever he says, Firefox. And she's just kind of like, wait, what? Because he so doesn't seem to be the person that's like chronically online, because he's not. Two, also like maybe a little bit on Marjan's side, like he knows who I am, like he's so cool, and that's all because of Buck. And just like one of like a classic Eddie thing where he just like drops in something like, I'm just gonna slide this in there and kind of like switch up the conversation or like the idea or something like that. Just really interesting that he like utilized the information that Buck gave him in like an opportune time for him, and then still like was basically doing all of that for Buck, like once he gained a rapport with her. So interesting.
Yeah, because he absolutely could have like lorded it over his head that like she followed him and like made fun of him and like teased him about it. But instead he's like, no, I got your back. Like I'm putting in a good word for you.
I think it's also really interesting that like with Buck and TK and Mateo, we have like that measuring competition with like my call is crazier than your call. But then with Eddie and Marjan, they have like I'll show you mine if you show me yours kind of thing, which is just like, it's so funny. I don't know how that relates to anything else, but it's just like, it's there and it's interesting. Yeah. Did we cover it?
I think we did.
Wow. There was so much there.
There was so much in there, actually. I was like, this is actually just a gay episode.
In an episode of not 911.
Yeah. So much queer coding.
Incredible.
For Buck and Eddie. Craziness. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I hope to come back soon.
Anytime.
Be careful what you wish for.
Sorry for contributing like absolutely nothing. Unless we edit some stuff in where I talk more, then I'm so glad I could provide so much more insightful information to you guys.
This has been so enjoyable for us.
And if for some reason you're listening to us and you live under a rock and you do not follow at 911 TV News, you should do that. You should go follow Trent.
Please do.
Because he's literally reporting the news.
And it's 911 verse on Instagram, right?
Right.
Yes.
But
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, don't mosey on down to Texas.
But if you do,
take a buddy with you.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you for listening to the Buddy System Podcast.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to our Discord community, full reaction videos, and even more exclusive content.
And if you really want to make our day, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Please come yap with us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Catch you next time. And don't forget,
bring a buddy with you.